I'll tell you how drunk I got. By 5:30 in the morning, I found my way down to the Columbia River, skinny dipping. Backstroking, blowing water out, just in the bare necessities. I got a call from Pharrell's team about doing a record, and it is like the most Pharrell song ever. He just speaks like such a composer. It's different, man. His approach is so cool. That's why he's so good. I have never met two people besides Joey Diaz that didn't do music that know more about music than Joe Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe. It is insane. This is my advice to any young songwriter. You do what you do in every single room, and you will always win, lose, or die who you are. And that will go so far. That's the beautiful thing about being at the bottom. There's no downside. It's the coolest podcast ever just by default of like, we really are f***ing camping. You ever told that story?
I don't think so.
Dope.
I like it just to be a hangout. You know what I mean? And
Yo, that's why I kept screaming. I was like, we were talking, and you were joking about about how asthma's not real.
Yeah, well,
I think that's what you said. I thought that's the quote.
It is real, but you got to grow out of it. You got to grow up. It's real to those who believe. It's like Santa. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Asthma's like Santa.
And right then, I was like, this motherfucker. I was like, film the pod. Don't wait till I roll the joint.
I don't know what happened. I had childhood asthma, and then it just stopped one day.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
Like, was it asthma? Like bad, like the bad side of it? Like, did you have an inhaler?
Yeah, but I think I had just childhood homosexuality. I think that's what my doctor called it. I think I was being a little soft.
Well, I'd like to start your podcast right here at the camp by telling you, of course, you know I'm a fan. This set is even cooler sitting in it.
Oh, thank you, man.
Than it is on camera.
I appreciate
that. I guess maybe on camera I assumed it was like most sets that it was like super flimsy.
Yeah.
But like, this is really stern wood. Like, this is a really these are real pictures hanging. They're not like the little paper ones that look like real pictures. It's really cool. This is a really
appreciate
cool.
It, man.
And you got like just cool little details everywhere that's not even on the camera.
Yeah.
Like, I think your coolest poster is this Johnny Cash one.
Oh yeah.
And it's not even fucking up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't even see it.
No, that's the way it is. This table's actually an old barn door.
Yeah, dude, I love barns. Yeah, dude.
That's the handle right there.
I'm telling you, dude, I love barns.
There's something about like walking into an old barn, like the smell of like a stable. My sister used to have
horses.
horses.
Like an old tobacco barn. You ever been to like an old tobacco barn?
What's that?
So like the barns. So back in the day, they would hang the tobacco in barns. You know what I mean? Like when they pull the tobacco, they'd hang it. They dry it out right there in a barn.
Oh, wow.
And these old tobacco barns, man, are crazy, dude, because years of hanging tobacco have gotten in the wood. So like it smells like an old tobacco barn.
Rich.
And dude, it's so awesome. You know what I love about barns?
Tell me.
There's some southern shit. I'm showing how country I am right now.
Get the Fiji off the table.
Yeah, right. I'm like, yo, fuck Fiji, son.
The water, not the country.
Yeah.
Is that a country even?
Yeah, it's like the water fucking shit. But the cool thing about a barn is, and why they're all different is, and what makes the wood so special is, every one of them is unique in its own way because it's been years of rain, dry, storm, dry, rain, dry. You know what I mean? So like they all kind of weather their own way. Mm-hmm. And it's like you can't make that. You can't fabricate 100 years of it just shitting rain on you and you drying out in the southern sun and over again. It's just fucking cool.
Yeah, they look a little wrong when they're like too new.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when they're brand new, you're like,
No, old barns are the shit, dude. I like barn dominiums, though. Have you seen the new barn dominiums they're doing?
No. Is it like people live in them?
Yes, dude. It's like the cheap way to build a house. So they call them a barn dominium, and they build them like modern barn style, but they insulate them, and you know what I mean? They make houses out of them.
I think you're talking about homelessness. I think you're talking about being homeless.
No. That's what
no, it's a box dominium.
You were like, that's what you call them in the South, is barn dominiums? Groups of homeless people just take over farms?
It's a tent dominium. You've heard of a tent dominium on the hot side of the highway in L.A.?
Yeah, this is a tent house. We're in a tent house right now. This is a top floor tent house.
Life is all perspective. But that's crazy. So they insulate it and then they actually like put windows on them.
Yeah, they're really cool, man. You got to look them up for real. They're called barn dominiums. It's crazy. I'm building one on the new property.
Are you really?
I'm building one for like a little hangout room.
You ever see when they move a barn? Like they'll just pick it up out of the studs and just bring it somewhere else?
Just like a trailer.
Oh, it's crazy. It blows my mind. I was driving down the highway and I see a barn on the highway.
It's the same thing when they move a mobile home. Like when you're like, oh, I get why they call it a mobile home now. You know what I'm saying? They just pick that motherfucker up, put it on a flatbed trailer, and ship it to Florida. You know what I'm saying? And set it in some old
family still in it, the whole thing. Waking up, it's like up.
Yeah, they're so peeled out they don't know they moved.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Yeah, they woke up like, dude, Ohio's different. Why are there gators in Ohio? What the hell? They got moved down.
I think this is the coolest concept too, Doc. That you
I
just
really
like put
appreciate it.
people in a tent and talk about trippy shit.
Yeah, I appreciate it, dude.
I was excited to do it.
That was the whole MO. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes it feels like I don't like it when it's too produced. You know what I mean? Like you sit down, like you see all the lights and it's the whole thing. I want it to feel like we're actually out in the country somewhere, going camping, talking.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's where I feel like my best combos are. It's like your phone doesn't really work. You're on a little mushrooms, a little weed. And then just chopping it up.
Did you take some shroomies this morning?
No.
Are you shrooming on a Sunday morning?
No. That's not the church I can do.
I was like, yo, let's fucking go,
Yeah,
son.
that's a little intense. That's a little intense.
Look at that, dude. I still got it. Look at that little baseball bat, Bubba.
I mean, it's crazy. You're not even. I feel like you don't roll your joints that much anymore, right?
Yeah, not as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But boy, do I still got it. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, dude. But we're camping, dude. I had to fend for my own out here, son.
And not only are we camping, smoking, we're also gonna do a little IV drip.
Yeah, we're doing an IV, dude.
Now, can you explain what this is?
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, here's the cool thing. I'll tell you my story. Bob, you can step in frame and start poking us. I don't think he cares.
Please.
Here's the thing. Here's the cool thing about this. So I was on tour last year with a band called Shinedown. You ever heard of Shinedown?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're so fucking good, dude. And as just like, for what it's worth, the greatest dudes on earth. Like all four of them. It's a 4-person band, and they are all four. Eric plays the bass. Barry's the drummer. Zach Myers is the lead guitarist, and Brent Smith's the vocalist. So it's a 3-piece and Brent. And these dudes have been touring for 20 years, had pop number ones, rock number ones. They've had more rock number ones on active rock radio than any band ever. So I got to tour with them, and it was like I knew that I was going to do the same tour I was opening up for them the next year, headlining. As far as like venue size, like I knew I was going into arenas and amphitheaters after this, hopefully, assuming everything was going right. And so I was like, this is a great opportunity to learn. And every day I watched everything they did like a nerd, Mark, like obsessed about everything they were doing. But one of the things I noticed is, you're fine.
I can't reach it.
Oh, you can't reach it. Oh, Mark's
You
gonna
keep
pull it
going.
down.
I'll reach
If
it.
you can get it down, I'll just hang it off.
Okay, yeah.
tie back
That's
here.
where you put it at first.
Yeah,
I forgot
that
your
way I can
you're 4'11".
Yeah.
Does this work
Or this one back here, even there's a zip tie right here.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as it's above your head and heart, we're good.
Yeah, as long as it's above the head and heart.
Okay. That should be above my heart.
Yeah.
So every day, Mark, they would I noticed they had a masseuse and a chiropractor. Every day in the green rooms, they would have a masseuse and a chiropractor.
Wow.
Lucky for me, they're like mentors to me. So I call them after and I'm like, hey, I'm budgeting my next big tour. What did y'all pay for the chiropractor and the massage therapist? And then they gave me the number and I started thinking, I was like, I wonder if like, fuck that. I wonder what it costs to get a nurse. Like if that's the typical daily budget for an arena tour for that kind of like fucking just like, with luxury shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder how much I can get a nurse for. So I'd met Bobby because she works with, well, we should plug the company, Bobby. What's the name of the company? Vive Hydration. And they were doing all of the festivals like we would play. And she was the only person that could stick me.
Oh,
so I got to where I looked forward to seeing her. I was like, oh, fuck, is Bobby there? I would ask festivals in advance. I was like, yo, is Bobby doing the IVs?
Getting missed is the worst.
Yeah, the worst, dude. And look, see how fast she just walked right then. It's over, dog. 1 hour from now, you're fucking going to feel better than you feel now.
Oh, wow. I don't even want to look at it.
You're all good.
Oh, it's over. There's no blood. It's already done. You're dripping. You're to the point of being able to look at it now. There's no needle in your arm anymore.
Totally normal for your arm to get really cold or to taste and smell the vitamins as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, you're going to taste them,
Like,
dude.
it reminds me of the old Flintstone. It's like a mixture between taste and smell, hits you in the back of the throat.
You'll know when do I start tripping? Like, am I going to see stuff?
Yeah, just a minute. Put a little psilocybin.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Positive.
Okay.
So I realized that, dude, like, I was going to bring a nurse. So we hit Bobby's company and worked out a deal. And instead of a massage therapist, instead of that stuff for tour, because I called the band. I joke with Brent and them. Brent and them was like, oh, that's cool you chose a nurse. I was like, well, because they're all sober and have been doing this for 20 years. So they've all been through their addiction and alcoholism. We're all new to this. So we're still actively in ours. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I think we need a nurse more than we need a massage therapist as a team. So I'm anxious to know the number, Bobby. How many IVs did you give on that tour?
It was about 550.
About 550 IVs in our crew is what she gave
just for
on that
y'all?
tour. Just for our. We were gone for like 4 months too. I mean, it was like 5 days a week, 4 months straight.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, we were
550.
kicking. Yeah, dude, breaking records. Son.
Jabbed up all over. Taking 10 needles at a time, dude. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, we all got scar tissue.
You're getting DP'd.
Yeah, she has trouble finding where to stick through the scar tissue now. So
Just right in the ass.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. I mean, the masseuse on tour is a little, I don't know, for me personally, I mean, especially the chiropractor. I feel like after a show, I don't want to get cracked out.
No, for sure. They do it before. Zach Myers would get a massage or a chiropractor every day. But, you know, his thing was for 20 years, he's been wearing 10 to 20 pound guitars or 7 pound, 12 pound guitars every night, you know, at shoulder. You know what I mean? These dudes have been doing it forever, dude. It's like, we've been doing it forever too, but not at their level or scale.
Yeah.
So it's like, you do it for that long, man, you're fucking, them dudes are sore, man.
Takes a toll on you.
Yeah, for sure.
You see those chiropractor videos on the internet?
Have you seen the ones where they're doing the dogs?
Yeah, bro, what is the dog?
It's just
mean,
not
man?
great. And the funny part is how the dude's talking 7 years of pain right now I'm taking away from this dog. I'm like, how do you know? Did he fucking tell you?
Also, is that dog years?
Yeah.
Like, how does that work?
Yeah,
7
how does
years
that
of
work?
pain?
Has it really been 2 months?
I think that's 35 years of pain,
And
actually.
and how do you fucking know? Did the dog tell you? He hit you like, yo, fucking my back hurts. It's like,
Yo, the dog chiropractor is hilarious. It's so funny to me.
dude, I can't quit watching. You know what I can't quit watching on TikTok right now, Mark?
What's that?
Big bumble clap, make me want to beat you did. Big hit the pussy turned red. Have you seen the British dude that's doing Jamaican music talking about turning pussy red?
He's
I can't quit watching this.
an actual British guy?
Dude, he's full blown British, like redheaded British. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking.
Yeah, deep cut.
Hold on,
Corn.
I gotta show you. I know we probably shouldn't do this, but
No,
you
do it.
gotta see this shit,
is
dude.
this is where this show is cool. There's no rules.
Okay, because
So
this is.
you pull up a video, we're gonna find it. We're gonna show everyone.
I sent this to my wife because I can't quit watching this. I fucked pussy. Pussy turned red.
Yo, Steve Buscemi's spitting, bro. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
right.
Young Buscemi with the dance hall.
Completely chinless.
Yeah.
I'll take one too, Bobby Kane. You want to do the left hand?
Ready? Let me
Yay.
see. Look at this one.
I didn't realize you were already ready. That's how fast and good you are.
I
Go,
mean,
Bobby, go.
That's beautiful. Yeah, you don't get nervous with needles and shit?
No, I mean, I get a couple IVs a week. I got one yesterday. I was so hungover from the
Really?
Madison Square Garden show.
And it immediately takes you, like, gets you back.
Immediately.
Wow.
Yeah, immediately.
I mean, that's amazing.
There's only been a couple of times I was so hungover that it didn't even help.
And what was that?
You knew me in my cocaine days. So we first met in like one of my prime cocaine days.
Yeah.
So especially when I would do cocaine, I would get IVs, and they like if I just drank, I'd get an IV, and no matter how drunk I was, I'd feel better.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I'd get an IV, and I'd be like, I still don't feel good. And finally, one of the nurses was like, "Are you fucking doing blow?" And I was like, "Yes." And she was like, "I can't help that motherfucker." She's like, there's nothing for
The
that.
science isn't there
Yeah,
yet.
the science
Yeah.
isn't there
It's
yet.
like
We don't-
James Cameron's
We don't
Avatar.
understand fucking what to do there.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
fucking, we don't know,
I mean, thank God. If they had cocaine IVs, you'd be like, I'm still doing cocaine. You know
Yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
Yeah.
100%. No way I get sober. if
Yeah,
they're
you don't
doing
want the
cocaine
science to get
IVs.
too good.
Exactly. Yeah. It needs to be set down the middle.
Yeah, exactly. Just taking Narcan IVs.
Yeah, just Narcan,
Here we
just-
go. Jab me up.
Testing strip IVs.
Yeah, start the morning. What do you think is the most hungover you ever been?
Oh, I remember a few really, really. I'd rather just tell you the story about the most hungover I've been on this tour.
Oh, okay.
I had a show with Eric Church at the Gorge in Washington. Have you been to the Gorge yet?
Mm-mm.
Did you follow Bert, obviously, Kreischer?
Yeah.
What you see when Bert played it, it's like one of the most beautiful venues in America, like more beautiful than Red Rocks even. Like,
Really?
it is unbelievable, Mark. It holds like 20,000 or something. It's huge.
Oh.
Might even be 30,000.
I remember. You
It's
got to like
huge.
drive out to it, like
Yeah, you
camp
got
on
to
it, right?
drive, dude. It's way out there. So we do the Gorge, and it sits on a river, and like, I forget, but ironically in George Washington. And it's like it overlooks, it's a mountain, and the stage is from the crowd. You see the stage, and you overlook at this river cutting through this mountain, like this big gorge, like where this river, just the Columbia River, I think it is, just flows, and it is fucking gorgeous. And the first night we're there, I'd never met Eric Church. You familiar with Eric Church?
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of his. I only did these shows to meet him. So they hit me after the show. They're like, hey, man, you should come meet Eric. And I told him all day, I was like, yo, I told my wife, I didn't even know Eric Church yet. And I tell my wife all day, I was like, I think I'm going to get drunk with Eric Church tonight. I just had that feeling. I was like, I think me and Eric Church are going to just get completely inebriated together. And I had a list of questions I wanted to ask him if I ever met him. And so I go into his dressing room after the show. And the first thing his wife does, she's the sweetest woman ever. She's like, would you like a drink? And I was like, I would love a drink. She was like, all right, what do you want? I was like, just give me a tequila straight. And me and Eric sat there, and I said, Eric, I got some questions I've been wanting to ask you because I really don't have nobody that's been doing this as long as you to ask these kind of questions, you know? And he was like, yeah, for sure. It's like you hanging around Rogan for a night, right? And you just being like, I got 1,000 questions. You know what I mean? Like, tell me everything you know. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I have these questions written down like a nerd. And me and Eric sat there and got trashed. I mean, trashed. I'll tell you how drunk I got. When I walked out of his dressing room at 3 or 4 in the morning, by 5:30 in the morning, I found my way down to the Columbia River, skinny dipping. Bro, Baloo the bear, son. Baloo the bear, backstroking, blowing water out, 38-degree water, just fucking the bare necessities, just the time of my life, dude. And I woke up that next morning, and Bobby gave me an IV on my bunk in the bus. I didn't even get out of the bunk. Bobby gave me an IV, and I did 3 bags of fluids and still felt like shit.
No.
Dude, I went on stage that night feeling like I just fucking had alcohol poisoning. And the best part was I woke up to a text from Eric just like, hey, amigo. He calls everybody amigo. He goes, hey, amigo, why don't you come out and sing with me tonight? And I'm like, holy shit. So I'm like, here goes my big chance to go sing with Eric Church. And I'm just like blasted still. But it was awesome. I mean, that was the biggest one.
Are you impressed that he could go like drink for you and seem fine?
Dude, yes. For sure. It was insane. But I mean, you know, he's also fucking big veteran.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time I've ever got, and I'm scared to get around him. It's like every time I get around him, he's like, you want to drink, amigo? And I'm like, fuck no, Eric.
Yeah, you got PTSD.
Yeah, I'm like, but I've drank with him again, I'll be honest.
2 tours.
Yeah, dude.
Like a Vietnam vet.
Yo, because we did like 5 or 6 shows. It was really, really cool.
I mean, that's insane. In the Columbia River.
Yeah.
Were you alone?
Yeah, no, we took a crew down there. Yeah, I gassed a few people into doing it. Yeah, a couple. I think only one person actually got ass naked though. Everybody else was just acting like they were going to get naked.
Yeah, but it's so cold. 5:30 in the morning. It's probably the water's...
Bro,
you're going to get some shrinkage.
Fucking shrinking, hell, disappearance. Turtle, you know what I'm saying? Complete gun, which I'm already struggling with that anyways. You know what I'm saying? So imagine I couldn't piss for 5 hours.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
I couldn't fish it out.
Dude, that shit scares me sometimes. Sometimes I get out of the shower, it's like a cold one, I'll like ice it off like a minute at the end of the shower. And I'm impressed by my own shrinkage.
I think I ended up having to just...
I'm like impressed. I'm not even ashamed. I just look at it. I'm like, golly, that is so compact.
I think I ended up just laying on my stomach and pissing myself. That's what I think I ended up doing.
Sometimes that's what you got to do, dude.
I didn't wake up till 5 the next day.
You just had a blowhole. I think that's what happens when it shrinks so much that it goes all the way in.
Oh, that's me anyway.
Old Faithful.
Yeah, that's what I am completely. Yeah, so imagine it cold.
You pee like a geyser. Just.
It's all right.
What did you want to ask Eric Church?
I really just was like, I wanted to know, we got personal, frankly. I was like, you know, one about longevity and how he scaled that on his business side. Because like whenever I talk to Kid Rock, who's another dude that's been very open at like telling me what's going on with him, Kid Rock was like, I'm like, what do you pay your management? Because, you know, now it's a different percentage than they did pay. I'm like, when did you scale that down? What did you pay your business manager? When did you switch from a 5% business manager to just a team of CPAs? You know what I mean?
Oh, so this is like deep cut, like
yeah,
game.
like we had like some real talk, like, and this is the truth. The reason I wanted to ask Eric this was, besides Kid Rock, I had asked a lot of artists in town that were in a better, like, had been there before, these same questions, and none of them would answer them. They would just like, and sometimes you don't know. Like, I know that some artists are not into their business, like it's just art, and they're just like, dude, I got business people that do business stuff. You know what I mean? But I was like desperate for a mentor. And I was like, I just hope so. When they called me, they said, do you want to open up for Eric Church? I was like, absolutely. And management, of course, who I love, they're great, but, you know, they get a commission. So they're like, why would we do that when we can go headline the same venue and make more money? Yeah. I was like, well, we get in front of a new fan base, and I need to spend some time with Eric. You know what I mean? I was like, I think Eric might be the dude who will give me some real advice here. And he was, dude. He answered. Him and Kid Rock. Kid Rock opened his books. I asked Kid Rock, I was like, well, because one time we were talking, I was like, well, that's what it was in... You know, that's how it is for you now. What was it like for you in 2003? He was like, I'll show you. And he's like, here's my financial records from 2003.
Oh, wow.
Dude, Kid Rock gave me the most game. I've never told any of these stories, by the way. Kid Rock gave me the most game ever, Mark. He once said, the lawyers in this town, this is Nashville, big music town. He said, the lawyers talk to each other all the time, and they're competing against each other. The record label executives talk to each other all the time, and they're competing against each other. Managers all talk to each other to try to figure out ways what each other's managers are doing, and they're competing against each other for clients in this town. He was like, as artists, we're not competing against each other. Why the fuck are we not talking to each other? He's like, we're not fighting against each other here. We're not putting record deals against each other here. You know what I mean? He's like, why would we not just start having conversations about what's going on? He was like, man, we got to do better. And I was like, dude, it was like so refreshing.
It's such an abundant mindset.
Period.
Because there's no downside for him to show you his books.
100%. There's no downside at all.
It can only help you.
It can only help
It's not
me.
like he's going to show you and then his management's going to be like, hey, I need more money.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
yeah, because you showed him. It's not like less people are going to stream his music because I put out an album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not, it's like, and that's how he looked at it, you know, and it changed my whole thing, but not everybody looked at it that way. But Eric Church was the same way, dude. Every single question, diligent, direct, caringly, too honest at times. I mean, it was really, really cool, man.
Wow. I mean, it's so cool when people meet your expectations or exceed them, right?
Yeah.
Like you have this idea that this guy like could help you out, and then you get in front of him and then goes above and beyond, and you're like, bro.
Yeah.
He's putting you on a shit you might not have even asked.
100%. He was
so
like, well,
cool.
have you thought about, he was doing that, Mark. He was like, well, have you thought about this yet? And I was like, haven't got there
Like,
yet.
I got 3 IVs in me right now. I haven't thought about much today.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, dude. Yeah, it's like, well, I wouldn't think about anything 7 shots ago, fucking Eric.
And it's cool that these guys, especially like Kid Rock, because I feel like his perception is he's just like a wild party boy, you know what I mean? Like, but that he's so, keyed into his own business.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of these guys, obviously, some are in it, some are not, and they just make music. And then some of these dudes are like in the books, like checking, dollars and cents.
Yes.
And the fact that he's so aware of his financial records from 20 years ago, I still think I have outstanding taxes.
What?
IRS, don't look at this.
Yes.
All right, just earmuffs,
yeah.
okay? But like, I'm so bad financially. Like, I have a general idea of what's going on, but like the fact that Kid Rock is like, hey, 20-year-old,
I'm telling you,
pen and
dude.
paper shit.
Dude, he is one of the most savvy businessmen I've ever met in my whole life.
Yeah. And what other ways? Like, obviously, he's like keyed into the dollars and cents, like business deals and stuff.
Yeah, no, business deals, startup companies, investments. Like, Kid Rock finds his way into everything. Like, he reads every deal from, like, he reads contracts. That's a bit like, dude, I'm very hands-on in my business. I'm not reading a contract. You know what I mean? It's 20 pages of confusion. You don't have to pump mine up, Bobby. I'm going to let mine slow drip. So,
You got into this business to not go to school.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I got into this to do the opposite. It's like Kid Rock is like, I'll give you another bragging point about Bob and who he is. His time is like, if Bob tells you he's going to be somewhere at 10, if he shows up at 10:01, he walks in apologizing.
Wow.
He is like the most fucking professional dude I've ever met. I am the most unprofessional dude ever.
Not the most.
Like, but especially when we're friends. Like, I text you like 1, and then I text you at 5 this morning, like 1:30, and I show up at 2:07.
I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy you're here. You have no idea. There's been a handful of people that are like, hey, I'll be there at 1, and then don't be there at all. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm grateful when someone's willing to chat with me.
No, dude, you're my homie, bro. And I'm so proud of this pod, dude.
Thank you, man.
I think it's so dope, dude.
Yeah, it's been a cool come up. It's like really fulfilling just to like find cool people and be like, hey, instead of reading all your articles, let's just talk about it. It's really, really fun. What's up, guys? We're going to take a break really quick because I need to tell you about one of my favorite new products in 2024. It's called Zippex. Yes, Zippex is a nicotine-infused toothpick. Now, if you know me, you know I like to indulge in a little bit of nicotine from time to time, okay? That's true. I don't like to smoke it. I don't like to vape it. Obviously, those things are very bad for your lungs. They're bad for your health. They make you feel bad when you work out. Not good. But nicotine on its own has been proven in scientific trials to actually improve neural communication, improve cognitive function, improve sharpness, improve mental clarity. Look it up. It's very, very interesting research. Anyway, back to Zippex. This is a nicotine-infused toothpick, okay? This is probably my new favorite way to get my little kick of nicotine. It's absolutely amazing, and it's great because you can use it anywhere at any time. It's very, very discreet. You just pop it in, and immediately you're getting whatever flavor you've purchased. This one right here, peppermint watermelon. Tastes amazing. They have 6 different flavors. They're all fabulous, and they all do the trick. Zippex is great for a couple reasons. If you're like me and you don't like to smoke or vape, Zippex is probably my favorite way to deliver that nicotine fix right to your body. It feels absolutely amazing. It looks cool. And also on top of that, I sometimes get food caught right in this little tooth right here. I always carry flossers with me. I always carry toothpicks with me, but now I have 2-in-1. Boom. After dinner, I'm getting a little fix and I'm getting food out of my teeth. I mean, that's a win-win right there. 2, it looks cool. It's discreet. While you're driving, you pop a Zippex in. You're feeling good. You're cleaning out your teeth. What do you want more than that? Secondly, if you're someone that maybe does smoke, maybe you do use vapes, maybe you do use cigarettes, you're going on a long flight. You're going to be stuck somewhere. You're going to be at a funeral. You're going to be at a wedding. You're going to be a baby shower for your baby. And you can't be ripping cigs at your own baby's baby shower. I mean, that looks insane. So what are you going to do? Pop a Zippex in. Now you're getting your nicotine fix and you're feeling good. Now, what if you're someone that doesn't even like nicotine? Zippex has something for you as well. They have B12 and caffeine-infused toothpicks if you're not a nicotine user or you're trying to get away from your nicotine habit. That's totally fine. Zippex has helped tens of thousands of customers in leading away to a healthier lifestyle that, maybe they currently vape or use cigarettes, and they can probably help you too. Make your lungs happy and try Zippex nicotine toothpicks. Ditch the cigarettes, ditch the vape, get a nicotine-infused toothpicks, okay? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to zippextoothpicks.com today. Get 10% off your first order by using the code Gagnon, Gagnon, at checkout. Your lungs will be glad that you did. You must be 21 years old to order, and I just want to say this as a warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. Zip more, smoke less with Zippex nicotine toothpicks. Now let's get back to the show. But no, that's cool about Kid Rock. It's nice to know that he's like a solid dude. I think that's a point to longevity. Like all the guys that I've found, and I haven't met like a ton of musicians, but the guys that I know that have been in it a long time are like, it is a business and they are very serious about it. Mm-hmm. I used to intern with the Bob and Tom show in Indianapolis. You ever heard of them? They're like a old like trucker radio station from like the 80s and 90s that were like really popular. And they're still around.
And they were in Indianapolis?
Yeah, Indianapolis.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah. And so I lived in Indy for like 4 or 5 months.
What kind of station was it?
I mean, it was like a talk radio station. I don't know the exact details. What do you mean? What kind of station?
Like it was just like talk radio?
Yeah, it was just talk radio. So they'd have like comedians on. Back in the day, that was like if you're doing the Midwest, you have to do Bob and Tom.
Oh, really?
So like they would have guys come on that no one knew, kill it on the show, and then have the club sold out for the weekend or whatever. Like they were like comedy legends, specifically in like 90s, 2000s. They had Tim Allen. All these guys were coming through.
I always forget how much morning radio and TV was a big part of like early comedy promotion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Specifically radio.
Yes.
Like there's legendary clips. Like some of my favorite clips, my favorite comic is Daniel Tosh. And he's got these clips from like being on the radio where he's just ripping. And from those, like selling out.
There was a big one in Columbus, Ohio. I forgot what it was. It was a big radio show that all the comedians went on to back in the day.
In Columbus.
Yep, in Columbus, Ohio.
I'm not familiar.
I'm not, I know this isn't my time to question you.
No.
I should start my own podcast.
Jelly, bro, this is our time to hang out.
When did you still, was that your start in the comedy?
Yeah, that was it.
Interning with some fucking morning dudes?
Literally.
You were like, this is fucking dope.
I went to college, I was doing open mics, and then I met a kid at college, this guy, Eric, who's the man. His dad was like a character actor. Ron Sexton was his name. God rest his soul. He played this character named Donnie Baker. And he was like a funny character actor that he was doing the character on the radio and then started touring as the character. And he was so funny. Like he was a character, but even through the character, there were like great punchlines. He was the man. And he was literally like, come up and intern. So I lived in the basement of a church in Indianapolis, interned for 4 or 5 months, unpaid, woke up at 5 a.m. every morning, wrote jokes for Bob to read on the show and or for Tom to read on the show. And I would like slip it to him unpaid. And then after like a month, or actually, no, it's probably like 2 weeks, he was like, hey, these jokes are pretty good.
Yeah.
You want a couple $100?
God,
and I was like,
sick.
Please, bro. I was living in the basement of this church for like, I think it was $100 a month or something. And he just like paid my rent plus $100.
Wow.
And so I was like over the moon, getting paid to write jokes.
What side of town were you living on? Do you remember?
I was living off Mass Ave. So it was like right downtown. Right near the Rathskeller, if you're familiar with Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then the station was like past Broad Ripple, so like a little north.
What was the comedy club there?
Crackers was the comedy club at the time, which is such a funny name for a comedy club. Like every black comic would go there, they'd be like, Crackers? They're not going to name a comedy club, and then they say that. They would never name a comedy club that. It was a funny spot. It was like a legendary, like old school comedy spot. There was another place called Morty's. It was like there was actually a decent comedy scene, but it was awesome being there. But I bring it up because REO Speedwagon came through, and they were doing. This is like REO Speedwagon in 2019 or something, or maybe like 2016.
Yep.
And they showed up 6 a.m. in the tour bus, dressed, ready to go, and just rocked for like an hour and a half on this morning radio show.
Oh, they played.
They played. They were pros, and
Bro.
I was just so impressed. I was like, man, these like legends still coming in 6 a.m. ready to get after it.
You know what's crazy about that? Singing in the morning or singing in the cold are the two hardest things to do on earth.
That's interesting. The morning specifically.
The morning is so hard to sing, bro.
Even if you had a night off.
Yes. Yes, for sure. Because it's like anything else. Like you got to really wake up and warming your voice up. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like it takes a lot of...
Yeah, it's a muscle.
Yeah, because you think about when you wake up how you sound the first hour when you're walking around your kitchen is kind of gargling, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like you got to do 6 a.m. radio. You either got to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and like really get like going or 3. You know what I mean? If you wake up at 5, I've made this mistake, by the way. I speak from real experience here.
You've done this?
Yes. Dude, I fucked up so bad so many times.
Wait, what happened? Tell me.
Let me tell you a time it almost happened. I really almost fucked up. I think I seen y'all the week I was here that week. I did Good Morning America. And your call time, which is the greatest look on television for the morning, right? Yeah. Fucking incredible look. I'm going into it. I'm excited. My first call was like sound check at like 3:50 a.m. or 4 a.m. And they let me park my bus on Times Square directly across the street from the venue. Bobby, I think you're in the way of that camera, by the way. Sorry.
All good.
But it's fucking like 4 o'clock in the morning, right? And I wake up and I stumble over there, and my voice is like Kermit the Frog at 4 in the morning. And you know me, I was like up until 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I'm like fucking, and I'm in there trying to sing, and I'm just like fuck. And so I go back to the bus at 4, and we sung at like 6:30. And I was about 5:15. My voice did not. I just wasn't up. It was just so early. It was so just whatever. I can't believe this. Just a true story. I grabbed my guy and I'm like, yo, we gotta just like power walk. So it's 5:15 in the morning and I'm like light jogging. My fat ass is light jogging up and down Times Square, right outside of the station. Just like, cause Good Morning America's right in the shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm lightweight jogging, like running out of breath, having to stop, catch my breath.
Drunk Elmo's looking
just
at you.
Fucking, what the fuck is going on, dog? I'm like out there fucking like doing push-ups against the bus because I can't do a real push-up.
Chinese
so I'm
tourists
just
moving
like,
away from
I'm
you.
just like fucking whatever I can to get it going. Now it's a tradition. Every time I got to sing in the morning, I wake up and go straight and get on a treadmill.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. And that actually just helps warm up the whole body.
It warms up the whole body. Just get a sweat going and start singing, warming the voice up. Because by the time we sing at night, dude, I've been talking all day.
Yeah.
And I still do a 15-minute vocal warm up every night before I go on stage.
Really?
Every single night almost.
Wow.
I do a 12 to 15 minute vocal warm up.
Wow. And so for the Good Morning America one, you felt good for it though. Mm-hmm. You felt locked in.
not as good as I could have sounded.
Yeah, it's just tough in the morning, right?
It's tough in the morning, dude. Any singer knows, man, or cold.
Yeah.
Remember that year Mariah hit that bad note at Christmas or something and everybody made fun of her and said she lost it?
It was the cold.
It was the cold, dude.
Wow.
It was like fucking 13 degrees outside. Mariah's out there in like fucking, you know, some Mariah fucking outfit or some shit. You know what I mean? And she goes out there and tries to hit that fucking falsetto and just blows it on national television.
Also, let me say it for the
and
record.
she's one of the greatest of all time.
Mariah has not lost it.
Ever.
She was just playing at Barclays last night. I knew a bunch of people. Dove went. He was showing me videos.
No.
Bro, amazing.
She does not miss, Bubba.
Ended it on, you know, All I Want for Christmas.
For sure.
Explosion.
Biggest Christmas song ever.
Of
history,
all time
of
ever.
all time ever.
And always and forever.
Yeah, bigger than Rocking Around a Christmas Tree, which is a close second. But wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Which I didn't realize the girl that sang that was like 13 when she recorded it.
Dude, and now she's like 78, and she is the sweetest old lady ever.
Have you met her?
Yes, I
What's
met
her
her. Her
name?
name's Brenda Lee.
Brenda Lee, that's
she
right.
is. Brenda Lee is awesome.
Really?
Yes, dude, I met her at the CMAs. She was the coolest. She came and took a picture with me. She is so sweet. Her friends were all sweet. Every one of her friends that was with her, her entire posse was her age. It was the coolest thing ever.
Golden
It was the
Girls.
fucking Golden Girls, dude.
Wow.
I was like, and she was so sweet and so kind and came over to meet me and encourage. And she said, I love your story. I love your music. All of her friends were sweet. We took pictures. It was really fucking cool.
Where's she from? Is she from
I
Tennessee?
don't know anything. I just know that I was like, yo, I think that's Brenda Lee. And then she walks over. She's like, hey, I'm Brenda Lee. I've been wanting to meet you. She came over to me.
Wow.
And when she walked away, I was almost sure. No, she didn't introduce herself. She just came over and started talking. She said, I've been wanting to meet you. And she was so sweet. And when she walked away, I looked at Zach Bryan because he was sitting next to me. I was like, yo, I think that was fucking Brenda Lee. And he was like, really? I was like, you remember Rocking Around the Christmas Tree? He was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And then Bunny was like, is that the Rocking Around the Christmas Tree girl? I was like, 70 years later.
I mean, at that point, it's like you're meeting that's like a national anthem type
She
shit.
just had the #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100 again.
How crazy is that?
Insane. And she's singing it live.
Yeah.
You know, the funny part is, imagine having this song, being famous for it, and then just one day when you're like 76 being like, you know what? I think I'm going to go back out and do a media run about this.
How
You know what I'm
crazy.
saying? And she's like all the way working
Imagine
the media.
anything you did at 13 was still prominent. You know
Yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck were you
The
doing
only
at
thing
13?
I did at 13 that stuck with me was a crime. You know what I'm saying? Fucking,
Yeah.
You ever hit this weed? You don't really smoke much. Yeah?
I don't really smoke. I get paranoid. I start thinking about planets and aliens and the ocean.
I thought it was just about.
Yeah, I mushrooms occasionally, but
Okay.
I get a little paranoid, dude. I like to talk about those things sober.
Really?
Yeah, you start.
That's why I'm getting high, in case we started talking about some shit I don't know nothing about.
Yeah, you start
If I was going to have to start making up shit here in a minute, I wanted to make sure I was stoned to do it.
No, but like you never get paranoid when you smoke.
No, like, I like that feeling, though. Like, I always enjoyed drugs that, not that I think weed's a drug, but I always enjoyed drugs that, like, kind of like you lost control of yourself on. Like when you get so high that you do get paranoid and like your palms get sweaty and you're like, I might have got too high. I love that feeling.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I hate it, but I love it. It's like when you do, like the moment, like, you know you did too many mushrooms. Like when you know you took it too far. Have you took it too far a few times?
No, I'm very measured with that.
Yeah, you got to take it too far one day. like, have you ever done acid?
No.
What?
I'm afraid, like, I don't know. I'm just a little afraid. I'm like, what if I don't come back all the way the same?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
listen to me. You're going to come back fine and better.
Well, that's with mushrooms. I came back way better. I need to do that like once or twice a year, probably.
Yeah.
To like kind of clear the pipes.
Dude,
Mushrooms help a lot.
I still do acid like once a year to clear the pipes.
Really?
But I do like real acid, like 3 hits, like go for it. Like, let's just fucking go.
The whole, you do like a paper towel of acid,
Yeah.
like the whole paper towel.
I go for it. I go for it. About not even once a year now, once every couple. I used to do it twice a year, but I've gotten a lot older and I feel weird taking acid. So it, like now as an adult male, for me to take acid, it's got to be the perfect circumstance.
Yeah.
Like I got to know both my kids are in the safest place they could be without having to bother me or anything could go wrong. I have to be like in a mountain in a cabin with the homies.
Get your
You know what I
finances
mean?
in order.
I like make a trip of it now, like an old man. Like, all right, July of next year's on the book, boys.
Yeah.
We're going to Colorado to trip acid.
When was the last time you did a retreat?
We tripped acid at a festival last year. So sometimes certain festivals we'll go to will be like, this is the one. And we'll just like blow back.
And what happened?
And to fucking have a ball every single time. You got to do it because you know what the difference between acids and mushrooms are? you can take mushrooms, and unless you take like the hero's journey, you can kind of ground yourself in your trip. Mm-hmm. Like if it starts getting weird, it's like real easy to go sit down and be like, put your feet in the grass and be like, you know what? It's actually all good, dude. This is just like wonderful. A piece of fungus, you know? It sounds nice. Great, right? When you do acid, there's no controlling your trip. If you do the right amount of acid, your trip's controlling you, Bubba. You're just riding. And you don't slow it down or stop it for the next 12 hours, we are to the moon. You know what I'm saying? It is awesome.
You ever have like sketchy situations like where in your head you're like, oh, this is too much? Like, does it ever get actually scary, or are you experienced enough that you can handle when it gets sketchy?
I know I can handle it. Yeah, it's all good. But I don't put myself in weird situations. I did that when I was young. That's the lose control stuff. When I trip acid just on a Tuesday, I'd be like, because it was there, I'd be like, yeah, well, let's take acid, and then try to go to downtown Nashville and fucking go down Broadway or something. Then you put yourself in a place where you're experiencing weird characters, and it's like the older we get now, we have the luxury of like controlling our trips. Like we'll like go float the Buffalo River.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we'll just fucking get like the big fucking canoes or the floats, like even the tubes, and I'll just get in a tube and fucking trip acid down a river for fucking 8 hours. You know what I mean?
That
it's
seems
like,
awesome.
Yeah, it's like you're not going to bump into nobody. Your phone doesn't have service. The real world's not real. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way we do it. I'll take you to the Buffalo River one day.
Bro, that would be so fun.
I swear, dude. It's the river we float. We float the Duck in Tennessee too, or the Caney Fork, or the Caney, but I prefer to float the Buffalo because it's the water's more shallow and clear.
Oh, that's nice.
So like if you're on some shrooms, like even if you just go out there and do like a gram or two, like it's fun. There's no phones, and we'll all get in kayaks and shit. You know what I mean? Or floats.
And you can see in the water.
And
probably.
You can look and you'll see these little fucking fish under you and shit. Yeah, turtles under your fish, and you see the rocks and the moss on the rocks and stuff. And it's just cool. It's just it makes for a cooler experience.
You might not even be in the river. I'll be honest. You might just be on so much acid. You're just in your apartment, and you just think you're in the river. You're like, dude, we're out here. But no, that'd be fun, dude. Looking at the water, see the future a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems.
I'll
fun.
take you to do it.
I would love that.
I'm dead serious.
That'd be really fun. I'm like not opposed at all. I just want it to be like the right setting. I never want to do drugs with people that got nothing to lose. You know what I mean?
Are you touring a bunch right now?
Yeah, with Schulz.
Yeah. Oh, I know you're doing all the Schulz stuff. You're doing the arenas next year.
Yeah, how crazy is that?
I thought I seen. Was it you and Derek? Mm-hmm. I seen on some posters y'all were doing some shows together earlier this year.
We're doing a bunch of our own shows.
Yeah, and y'all did some earlier this year too,
exactly.
though, right?
So we try to like line them up before Schulz's show because we're already going to be there. Let's just go a day early and then do our own thing. Work
Good
the club.
for y'all.
It's so fun.
Yes.
It's so fun. It's like so crazy because opening, I mean, you know this obviously with Shinedown and now doing your own arenas. You know what I mean? It's like you get to see kind of that progression. Like the psychology of the opener is kind of its own thing.
Right.
And, it's not about me when I'm opening. I'm here to do a job. I'm here to make an amazing show, and I'm here to lift Andrew up to have like the best set possible. You know,
sure.
To be like a part of this bigger thing. And then when it's your own show, it's like, yo, let's just have fun.
For sure.
Let's just goof off and let's just do whatever.
Yeah.
So and
it's also the idea of like y'all working out that shit in them clubs. That shit's
you need it.
Fucking my favorite.
Oh, you absolutely.
But yeah, I forgot because I told this when I seen Derek in Austin. I almost surprised y'all at one of y'all's gigs, but it just didn't. You know how life is. It just we were like a city. We were close to y'all, but it wasn't close enough for me to make y'all showtime.
I would have freaked out.
But I was just gonna like pop up and bang in on y'all.
Bro, imagine.
I swear I'm gonna do it one day for sure. Dude, I'm telling you, dude. You know me. I'm still stopping at every comedy club in America.
Well, the fun
it's
part,
like what we do on our days off.
With me and Derek is that we're in small enough rooms that like you could be in the very back, and I'd be like, "Is that fucking Jelly?" Like, there's no blending in. You know what I mean?
Oh, you know me. I'm just gonna come knock on the green room door.
Yeah, I might make you do time though. Have you not done any stand up at this point?
No, dude. Petrified
even
of it.
a joke?
No. Wouldn't I don't know, man. I joke about it all the time. I told Bert one time I thought I'd kill, but I was being funny. I don't think I could do it.
I've never seen a live show of yours, but like in between songs, you talk a decent amount. Like you kind of like...
Yeah, it's very dialogue driven.
Yeah.
And we definitely have some jokes. We have like some go-tos. Like, I think that's what attracts us to comedy as entertainers, especially like the Nashville guys, like my country music friends. Mm-hmm. We played so many acoustic guitar pulls where it's just you and a guitar and a crowd.
Yeah.
That we all think we're a little funny.
Yeah.
Because we all know just a couple. We've said enough. We've found enough of a routine that between songs we can, you know. But I thought about that. I was like, I would have to hide behind the guitar still. Like if I came out and did something, like I would still hide behind the guitar. But let me tell you the coolest thing I've had happen at a comedy show for me yet. I went to Bert Kreischer's Fully Loaded, and I brought the guitar. And because I told Bert, I was like, I'm bringing my guitar, no pressure, but I'll sing. You know, it's an 8,000 person amphitheater. It's my style. You know, I'm in. And Bert was like, bring it, come on. And they gave me, just like a comedian, it was cool. I got 15 minutes, which was fun for us because it was like, oh, okay. Well, what is that like? We can just kind of fuck off for 15 minutes. It's like where guitar pulls are like you do 3 songs.
Yeah.
So it was like even more loose. I was like, oh, this is like a mini show. Like I get to fuck off for 15 minutes. We'll do some medleys. You know, so we went out there, dude, and it was cool because I wasn't announced. Nobody knew I was coming. It's Huntsville, Alabama. I come out, and, dude, I was shaking nervous.
Really?
Yeah, man, because, like, nobody came to watch a motherfucker sing a song. Like, not one person walked in there thinking somebody was going to sing a song tonight. You know what I mean? Like, they came for a specific itch to get scratched. I did too. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want nobody to sing a song. Anybody but me, I didn't want to fucking hear.
Yeah, just walk
you know
out.
what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, guys. I just want to get ahead of this.
Yeah. But, dude, we rocked.
Well, that's the thing with music, though.
Bert came out. Tiffany Haddish came out, danced with me. I mean, it was wild.
I remember seeing that.
Dude, it turned into it was like a moment.
Yeah.
I told Bert, I was like, I'm coming on the Fully Loaded Comedy Festival this year.
I mean, it's beautiful. Like, but that's
so
I think there's an element of that where, like, with comedy, if you go to a comedy show and you see music, like, no one's ever mad at music. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you go to a show, like, a concert, and then some comedy happens, you're a little bit like, all right. You know what I mean? Like, I think one works the other way better than the other. You know what I mean?
That's real.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, I'd be scared to come out and just do, like, fucking, come out and just tell a joke in front of Metallica. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy is that Jim Brewer does that. That exact thing. Do you know this? I'm pretty sure it's Jim Brewer. Yeah. He opens for Metallica and does stand-up.
Wow.
He does like 15, 20 minutes. There's also another guy, I forget his name. He's like a Latin American artist. And it's so funny. He has this, it's all in Spanish, and he has this Spanish comedian come out with him and open the shows. And then he does like very like suave, like sexual, like, Latin dance music. And they asked him, they're like, why do you do this? And he's like, I want people to laugh before they make love. I was like, yeah, that's a bar, awesome. Dude. I love that.
What was the name of the tour that Fluffy just went on? Fluffy went out with, because somebody on our crew worked it, is what I'm thinking. It was Fluffy.
Really? And a musician?
Ricky Martin. It was Fluffy and Ricky Martin.
Oh, really?
I swear to God, somebody on our crew went and worked a Fluffy and Ricky Martin tour.
I mean, that's an insane mashup.
Yeah.
That's like bigger than, he's already doing stadiums.
Yeah, for sure.
At that point, it's
Fluffy's doing stadiums in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
So is Ricky Martin. So you put them in a stadium together, you know what I mean? There was somebody else that was cool.
I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. I don't know if it was Pitbull or what it was.
At a certain point, cool. Like, Fluffy's shows are just going to look like Woodstock 99.
Dude, it's crazy. Like, when he did Dodger Stadium, I was like, fucking go, Fluffy, go.
How crazy, right?
Sweetest dude ever.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
He's
awesome.
the dude that'll text me just to be like, just thinking about you. Fluffy loves you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? He's like... We did a show together. We did Barmageddon. It just came out on USA Network. It's Blake Shelton and Carson Daly's show, and you play bar games. Now, I want you to imagine why this is worth you watching. I show up thinking it's bar games. Like, I'm getting an IV that morning. I'm like pounding Pedialyte. I'm like, we're having a drinking contest on national TV.
It's beer pong, flip cup.
Yeah. No, it was like mildly athletic. I got like D1 athletic shit. They were like
Omaha drills?
We did like human foosball. You know what I'm saying? Where we're like blocking fucking soccer
bar is
balls.
This, bro?
And
the
shit.
fuck?
It's Blake's bar on Broadway called Old Red. And we're like, I'm in there, dude. Now keep in mind, Mark, I want you know this about me because we're homies on and off camera. I traditionally show up to places in a very good energy and normally slightly too high to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the state I live in.
Yeah.
So I'm walking there like stoned. And I'm like, all right, what we doing? Like flip cup? You know what I mean? They're like, oh no.
We're flipping tires.
They were like,
what the fuck? We're doing like, CrossFit?
There was a moment, because Blake's got like a 3-story bar. Blake Shelton is the fucking man. And there's a 3-story bar, and we would shoot basketballs from the 3rd story into solo cups that were like, half the size of this table on the 1st story. It was crazy, dude.
And you're just sitting there like, yo, when can we drink?
We started. I was just like, when is
are we
the
getting
alcohol
fucked up, dude?
coming?
Why I came all the way here for sports?
At what point did we start drinking? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's crazy. And then 2 nights ago, you were just at MSG, like you mentioned. That's crazy,
dude.
How did it feel? Was that first time, or you've done it a couple times now?
First time, dude.
Really?
First time, yeah, man.
And
Big
that's
deal. Now you haven't done it yet, have you?
No.
So your first time's gonna be with you and Schulz.
Yeah,
dog. I want to tell you, man. And I told, of course, I talked to Schulz too, brother for life. But I was like, I'm tearing up already. Like that promotional clip for MSG, and then like watching it sell. Because I text him that night. He'll show you the text to prove this. At 5 a.m, my night. But before he woke up, and I was like, "You're gonna sell this out on the pre-sale, bro." I was like, "I want you to know that like you're fixing to sell this thing out on the pre-sale." And sure enough, I look up and it's the pre-sale sold, and I was like, he's fucking fixing to go for 2. I can't believe they didn't do 3. Bro. And you know what I told somebody? They was like, why do you think he didn't do 3? I was like, there was a conflict in date. Yeah. However, he got the Garden for 2 nights. They did not ever think he had a chance in doing 3. Bro. You know what I'm saying? I was like, dude, he could have done 4 or 5.
It was so beautiful.
The whole world was going to fly in to see him there as many nights as he wanted to play.
Honestly.
I tell you this much, and I told him, once again, y'all will see me. I'll be there. I'll be there night 1. I've already blocked the date, baby. I'm coming for sure.
I'm so excited.
And I'm a good friend. You don't have to worry about putting me on the guest list or nothing. I'll figure it out. All right. I won't bother y'all. I show up, buy merch, get drunk, and split.
No. I mean, you're already plugged in. No question. No question. But no, it was so beautiful seeing for him because, like, he's. Man, this is just so cool. He's like so focused, right? And he's like so locked in with everything he's doing. He gives 120% for everything. Like every flyer, every promo, he's so locked in for everything. And so we're coming up with the promo, we're talking about it, and we're discussing, what it means to him and trying to really nail down the feeling. And we're kind of just going for it, right? Like we have a couple days to announce, and then we do it, and the moment is so beautiful in the moment, but it's still like just us kind of in like an empty arena.
Right.
And then it goes out, the feedback's amazing, the shows sell out on the pre-sale, and then we're supposed to do a pod that day. And Schulz is like, 5 minutes late. We check the phone, 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late. And I'm like, where is he? And then someone comes upstairs and they're like, yeah, he's just, he's in the lobby right now. And we're like, what, he's here? And they're like, yeah, I think he might need a minute. And we're like, what? And so we're just waiting like 20 minutes, and then he comes upstairs and he tries to play it off. Yeah. But his eyes are just beet red. Just like squalled. Puffy. Oh. And he's like, what's up, guys? You ready to do a podcast? And we're like, Schulz, are you okay, buddy? He's like, yeah, why? What's wrong? Yeah. And we're like, I feel like you've had some feelings. Oh. And he's like, yeah, it kind of hit me a little bit. Oh, and it just like dosed him in one moment. Good. As he's walking in for the pod on time and has to just sit in the lobby and just feel it.
Just fucking cleared. God, I tear up thinking about it. It's just the greatest. There's like, even watching when we met each other, we all met each other a few years ago in the middle of the pandemic, early 2020, and to now, I'm just, dude. Even with this pod, even watching with, how the fuck do you say your last name, by the way? You know what I'm saying? Is it Gagnon?
I don't know.
Gagnon?
En français. And the French Canadians, they say Gagnon.
Okay.
Gagnon.
I'll fuck that up forever. Give me the redneck way to say it.
The Antioch version is Gagnon.
Okay, Gagnon.
Yeah, Gagnon.
Yeah, so it's fucking, but like Camp Gagnon, it's fucking going on.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? Like just watching it happen, and then like, watching the hometown, and then the whole arena tour, and just seeing y'all do it, and like it's a once in a like. The things that are happening right now are so fun to watch because they've never happened before. So we're like, there's so much not new under the sun that we just automatically, this is just another version of.
Yeah.
But like what's happening in comedy especially, but with the crews and the friends and like the scene of comedy, this has never happened before. Like this is like, the closest thing to this ever was Kevin Hart and the Plastic Cup Boys.
Yeah.
Like him going out and doing arenas and taking like these dudes that just kind of like lived in their own island, foxholed up and fucking figured it out. It's insane.
Bro, that's why I always tell Schulz, I'm like, I have no business being here. You know what I mean? Yeah. I met up with him. I was still in college.
Right.
Like, and he took me along. He knows all these other comedians, especially when I started. There were plenty of people way better than me. Like, he should have taken them. Yeah. And he was just like, nah, you're the homie. We're helping each other out. I want to help you develop. I want to see you grow. And never once was there ever like, yeah, dude, we're going to have this other person fill in. It's always like, nah, you're my guy. Just on the strength. It's
You know who the real MVP is of y'all's crew though?
who's that?
Alex, dog.
Oh yeah,
Dude, Alex went from police to personality. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's insane to me.
But that's I was even telling you on the phone while we were talking, like it's so weird seeing, you know, our crew and you and your crew all coming up in such similar ways. From my perspective,
for sure.
You know, like we link up, you know, at your studio in Tennessee, what, 3 years ago, something like that, and just like make this goofy song together and like have a bunch of fun, and like in the same way where it's like, oh yeah, there's not that much new under the sun. You are new under the sun. You know what I mean? Right. And it's so cool because people ask me, they're like if they're not familiar with you, be like, oh, like what kind of music does Jelly Roll make? Who is he? What kind of guy is he? Like, who is he like? And I'm like, bro, you need Thanos' gloves. You know what I mean? Like, you need 8 people combined to describe what you've done and who you are. You know what I mean?
I love it because I get described different every day now. Madison Square Garden is how we got bunny trailed over here because we're just fucking talking. But when Madison Square Garden the other night, one of the guys that threw the show on behalf of ABC, I don't want to say his name because I don't know if he wants his shit out there, but he's a big producer at ABC. And he comes back and he goes, yo, my son's seeing this for the first time. And I was like, oh, because a lot of people like, first of all, 17,000 Olivia Rodrigo fans. So let me paint the picture for you, dude. It's like, it's Jingle Ball, right?
Yeah.
But it's Z100. It's New York City. So it's like, every one of the Jingle Balls are different, but it's like, really, I don't know, it's interesting. But it's a lot of family kind of I'll give you an example. Joey Diaz, Uncle Joey came with his daughter and his wife. Oh, that's cool. Right? And I was joking because my manager was like, I can't believe, you know, me, Cher, One Republic, Olivia Rodrigo, David Kushner, Sabrina Carpenter, Pentatonics, right? It's like a really, and I thought about it more. I was like, oh, this is crazy. I kind of see the dynamic here. You know what I mean? Like, it's like showing the depth of pop culture and pop music, quote unquote, like being popular music, like popular culture. So there's a lot of people, like, especially now in New York too. You know, I'm probably the last city in America I'm gonna really explode on, right? So it's like, which is fine. You know, you gotta work hard. Yeah. You gotta work to win New York and LA, you know? And so I'm excited. I walk out there. So I'm like, and I realized by song 1, I heard early in the night because they would say everybody's name and they'd be like, and like everybody got like an obligatory, yeah, we're glad they're there. And then they would say, and later, Olivia Rodrigo. And that place erupted. I mean, I was like, so as soon as I heard that the first time, I was like, "Ooh, boys, get ready to sweat. We finna have to convince them we're worth watching." You know what I mean? So we did too, man. We ended up having that place fucking rocking. The walls were sweating. I mean, there was a moment in that show that was probably my favorite moment of touring ever. I do a Biz Markie cover.
Yeah.
At the end of it, I do a medley of hip hop stuff, like to show the influences I had. And I end with Just a Friend. And like we always let the crowd sing the last one, and some good crowds will sing it twice. I've had a couple of really good crowds sing it 3 times, like where the arena just takes off with it, like, fuck it, we're going to sing this forever.
Put the mic down.
I just put the mic down and walk around and let them go. New York City, about the 4th time they sang it around, they all started clapping together. And I want to remind you, when I walked on this stage, nobody even stood up.
Bro.
You know what I mean? And by now, like halfway through the set, I've got this whole arena up clapping. And then I do Need a Favor, I saved it for the end of the set. The second to last song, I play Need a Favor, which is big on pop radio. So now the place is, like, if it's a comedy room, it's a teapot. Bro. Like, the lid's fixing to come off. I hit the first note to Save Me, that place loses its shit. And then, now keep in mind, most of them don't know the song. They're just like, yo, this dude is singing now. And it like gets emotional a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it's a room full of people. So when this executive producer's back telling me, he said, man, my son's, 20-year-old college, whatever university perspective was, he was like, this shit is rock and roll Americana. That's how he perceived my show when it was done.
How cool.
You know what I mean? Like, that was his perspective of what I do. Yeah, you know what I mean?
You're doing rap, you're doing hip hop.
I'm spreading everything, and it's like, but his whole perception was like, yo, like, this is, I don't know, it's just so different. It's like, and then, of course, in New York, that's the coolest country artist we've ever seen. Because, I joke with people all the time. They're like, how did you end up being a country artist? I was like, you're from here, so you're used to how I talk.
Yeah.
I was like, as soon as I go to New York, I don't have to convince any of them why I'm a country artist. I've never had to tell you every time I start talking like, oh, you're a country music artist. I'm like, wow, yeah, exactly. How'd you guess, motherfucker? You know what I'm saying?
But that's amazing. I think that's a testament to your like experience in the game. You know what I mean? This is not your first rodeo. This is not the first time you had to convince a crowd. You know what I mean? Like, like for some of the early shows in your career, like the way comics do it, it's like, yo, we gotta grind it out. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have a hit, you know, when you're 19 years old and be like, oh, everyone knows me all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like that's the years of work
for sure
goes into it. All of a sudden you're like, come on, I can convince these motherfuckers that this is the greatest part of the show. This is what they're gonna remember after.
This is what they'll leave talking about.
Yeah,
they're gonna leave talking about like, yo, whoever the fucking fat white dude was. They might even not remember my name in the moment. Like, yo, the big dude killed it. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. That's what's been so fun about these Jingle Balls. Man, this podcast is gonna be so good. You're gonna have so many clips I need. Because this is so good. Because this is all like, you know, this is, my life's in a weird place and I ain't got to talk about none of this. I come into these Jingle Balls as the country dude. And it's funny because every circle I go to, I'm always coming as the dude I was before. You know what I mean? So it's like when I came into country, it was like I came in as the rapper. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm like going to a pop radio show as the country dude, which I'm honored to represent that slice of America. I'm from Nashville. Fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Well, in fact, we're not going to own it. We're going to kill it.
Yeah.
And then I know, because I've done, what was that, number 4, Nick? What number, how many? Detroit, Chicago, Dallas, New York, and we got 2 left. So this was the 4th one. And I'm walking in knowing like Dallas killed, Detroit killed, Chicago killed. I'm like, New York's going to be the test, you know? And I walked out and I knew that less people was going to know me here than anywhere else. I'm expecting Philly to be a little bit of a job for me too. But because I hadn't played a Philly proper show ever yet. I haven't played a New York proper show since Webster Hall 6 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I'm still like dancing around it. Like I sold, how many tickets did we sell in Connecticut? 5,000, whatever that 5,000 seater was, right up an hour up the street, whatever that like little baseball field is everybody plays up there. It's like an amphitheater.
Yeah, Forest Hills, right?
Huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, not Massachusetts. This was the one in Connecticut.
Oh, it's in Connecticut.
Yeah.
It's like Norfolk, maybe?
Bridgeport?
Oh, yeah, Bridgeport.
Yeah, Bridgeport. They have like a little amphitheater there. It's like 5,000 old, it's like Connecticut, Hartford Health Center or something like that place. But anyways, but like we haven't played a New York proper show. Like I haven't played a Philly proper show. Like I've danced around it. Like we played that amphitheater outside of Philly.
Yeah. But that's interesting, though. I feel like there's New York just has everyone. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it's, you know, city people. And I feel like, even growing up in Florida, like, I come up here and I'm like, oh, yeah, these are city people. You know what I mean? And I grew up in basically a city. But there's everyone is around and everyone wants to come here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, all the upstate people. You know what I mean? Like, all the Long Island people. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I think at this point, there's, you know, a lot of Jelly Roll fans. Yeah. No. In any city. Yeah. Well, they're all around. We did really good in Buffalo. We killed in Buffalo, the other side of the state, like 24,000 tickets. We Syracuse. Was that the SPAC? Is that where the SPAC is? I'm not familiar. Or the Sarasota Performing Arts Center. Okay, yeah. Or, no, not Sarasota. Saratoga. Okay. Yeah, Saratoga. That's upstate. Fuck, I'm high. What is that? Sarasota's in Florida, I think. Yeah. You're like the serotonin music. I was like fucking somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Fucking one of those places. It was awesome. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Is it interesting, like, especially being in the cities, because it might, you know, obviously city people might be different than being in like Huntsville or something. So like when you're in the city, seeing a dude that's like, yo, this is like a dude that, you know, dreads, you know, a chain, but like knows all the words. And you're like, oh, wow, there's like a real, like, you know, Brooklyn dude that's like just rocking out to country music. It must be so fun to be the liaison and like the touch point for all these new types of fans. You know? Yeah. Well, I love that the story is like making its way to everywhere. Like, I think the coolest thing is the range of fan I have right now is 7 to 70. You know what I mean? Like, it's really cool because we've been like really blessed this year to be able to tap into things that I never thought my slice of America would tap into. Like, every time I've seen you here, I've been doing TV. Like, the fact that I've like become a regular thing on television in the last year is fucking like, mind-blowing to me. I'm a criminal. Yeah. I'm like, yo, y'all know the story, and they do because they say it. Yeah. They tell them every show, and I'm just like,
I think that documentary helped me so much. When they put that Hulu doc out, it's like that thing was so cool because it kind of really explained who I am in 90 minutes. And if you took the time to watch it, like you got it, and it brought so many walks of life to like just second chance. I think that's been my biggest appeal, is that I kind of now represent that piece of second chance. You know what I mean? It's but I think that's why I connect with y'all so much, because I see it in y'all. Not even second chance-ish, but like Schulz isn't 26.
Right.
Schulz isn't 23 years old. You know what I mean? Like, that's why it hits that much harder at the Garden.
He got told no a lot of times.
A lot of times.
They told him, hey, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe do something different. You know, the special is not going to go on this platform.
For sure.
We don't want to buy this.
This isn't going to work. We won't. But I'm talking like early career. I mean, you're talking about a dude that just grinded it in clubs and figured it out. And 3 years ago, I'm thinking about the Madison Square Garden announcement. I'm getting happy because 3 years ago, I came to see y'all for your second night at Zany's of 2 nights in Nashville. You know what I mean? Like, y'all sold, 2,300 tickets over the weekend. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just watching it, like, to know, and then to know it's no spring chicken. Y'all ain't no spring chickens.
That's what I'm saying.
Even Akash is like, like fucking grinds. You know what I mean?
But that's why I think you and Schulz, like you said, are so close. Like, there's so many analogs. You know what I mean? Like, even the fan base, like we were just saying. Like, I feel like your fans look like everybody. Same way Schulz's fans look like everybody.
Right, for sure.
One of the girls that works in the building, Melinda, she's awesome. She's like half black, half Albanian. Grew up in like Queens or something. And I was like, yeah, Jelly Roll's coming on tomorrow. The way her face dropped, she's like, oh, Jelly Roll? I was like, you know about Jelly Roll? She's like, I love Jelly Roll. Like a black Albanian girl from New York. I'm like, that's awesome. Amazing. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think when you come back to New York and really do it, I think you'll be shocked. I think you'll be shocked at the turnout.
I'm going to get in trouble for this. No, I'm not going to do it. I will just say this because I will say this. I'm going to play New York City next year for sure.
Yeah.
Like 100%. It's going to be a big show.
And it's going to go crazy.
It's going to be a big deal.
It's going to go crazy.
We're coming back. I'm going to play my first real headliner in New York ever. I headlined Webster Hall in 2016.
Yeah.
And that's the last time I played New York City. And I played the small room. You know how Webster Hall has the upstairs?
Oh, really?
You know, it has the little 200 cap room downstairs, and I didn't sell it out.
No way.
True story. It's the last New York City show I played.
No way. Do you carry like any like maybe even before, like, things have even changed in the last year, but like any insecurity where you're going into a market where you're like, oh, maybe they won't know me, maybe it won't sell that well, maybe I'll just hold off. Like, did you ever feel that fear, or were you just like, I'm too busy doing other shows, doing other cities? No, I fear it every time. I'm nervous, petrified about the New York on sale, the next LA on sale. But really?
I treat everything like, I don't know about like ticket sales as much now because the way I tour, it's a stress I don't have right now. I'll announce my tour in February, and you call me that week, I'll be a fucking nervous wreck. In fact, call me, talk me off the ledge. It'll be a rough week for me. But it's like, I walk into every show, like, even though they bought a ticket to be here tonight, they're not sure if they like me. And that's the performance I give every single night. I'm like, I want to win a crowd every night, which back to Madison Square Garden is what made it so special, because then you're really winning a crowd. Like, I'm treating Jelly Roll fans like that. So imagine what I'm doing when I walk into a room and I know these people are like, would you hurry up and get SZA on the stage? You know what I'm saying? I go out and rock. Joey Diaz, when I came back, he said it was fucking Led Zeppelin in 1975. Fucking dude.
You had these cocksuckers going crazy.
Yes. You fucking, the place was fucking exploding. Power ballads.
How do you set up a set list for something like that?
By the way, if you ever need somebody to just make you feel better about your life, and like, if you're ever in that place, you fucking call Joey Diaz, dog.
Bro.
He will instantly, he has me charged up and ready to, I think that's why I give people their flowers now to this day, is because Joey will just automatically charge you up.
Unload.
It's his default setting. It's just a straight start going, you a bad motherfucker, Jelly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's just fucking, even at night, he could tell I was nervous. He said, you're a bad motherfucker, Jelly. You don't worry. Because he came back before and after,
I love it. I mean, he's like got like football coach energy just for regular life.
Just for regular.
Like, I bet he does it just checking out at Kroger's.
Yeah, and the stories are real. It's like when he was telling me about going to the Garden. He's like, dude, I came here. You know, he said, you got $15 tickets back in the day. He said, you didn't even know who was playing. You just showed up and came and seen, you know? But, dude, I heard all them stories. It was so cool, man. Yeah. Sorry, he was finna ask me something. I was just high and talking about Joey Diaz.
Setting up the set list for something like MSG, like for that type of show. You know, it might not necessarily all be Jelly Roll fans. Do you set it up differently than your own show?
No, I have a firm belief that we do what we do everywhere we go, and that's what it is. We are who we are, and that's what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it don't matter, you know?
Yeah.
My show is designed to show the music that I grew up on, so we do a medley every night anyways. Mm-hmm. So obviously when you're in New York, you're like, do the hip-hop one. You know what I'm saying? Like, where maybe if you're in, but normally I have enough time to do like, I don't even want to blow it because, you know, buy a ticket to a Jelly Roll show, coming to a city near you. But we have a really cool thing. Our show's really interactive and fun. So,
yeah.
But my mentality from day one, Mark, man, and this is my advice to any young songwriter. You do what you do in every room. You know what I mean? Like I don't care if you go to a writing round and everybody's singing up-tempo music and you don't got nothing but good power ballads, sing them ballads, baby. You know what I mean? Like, you do what you do in every single room, man, and you will always win, lose, or die who you are. And that will go so far. And if nothing else, you win just that. Because then people just go, we know, at least we know this fucking, like, there's a respect.
Yeah.
Like, even if they don't dig it, they will always respect that they could tell it was really who the fuck you were.
You stood on it.
You stood on it, man. This is who I am. This is what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I struggle with that sometimes. I get a little insecure. I guess this is the beauty of where you're at in your life and like when success is hitting you in this way. Like, you know, when I'm in front of, you know, Schulz's crowd, I feel very comfortable. When I'm doing my own show, like headlining, I feel more comfortable, but a little nervous because I know the expectation is higher.
Right.
But then sometimes I'll do shows in the city and it's just like a bunch of random people that have never heard of me, don't know anything about me. And sometimes I feel like, I got to kind of change what I'm doing to kind of appease them because they don't know me from the thing. And I don't know, I find myself adjusting. And then when those shows go poorly, I am so much more angry. You know what I mean? Because like I changed what I wanted to do and who I was, and y'all still didn't fuck with it.
You want to hear the wildest advice I can give you?
Please. What's up, guys? We're going to take a break from this amazing conversation because you need an attorney. Yes, something happened to you. You might have got rear-ended. Maybe you had an accident at work. Something happened. Who knows? That happens here. You know Brandon, our amazing producer. He might have an accident at work one day. You know what I mean? He might be switching the cams, split a fingernail. I don't know what could happen on a podcast. You know what I mean? Anything could happen. And if that happens to you, it's going to be hard to find an attorney. I know that. You're going to go on a website, you're going to go through all these different people, and you're going to be like, oh, I don't know who to pick. It's going to be so expensive. I'm in over my head. And that's where my good friends over at Morgan & Morgan come in. Oh, yeah. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Over 100 offices nationwide, over 800 attorneys. Now, here is what is amazing about Morgan & Morgan. And this is for real. I know these dudes from back home. They are legit. They are the best dudes. And here's what's amazing about them. Morgan & Morgan, it's never been easier to submit a claim. Yes. If you want to submit a claim, have someone look over what happened to you. They can check out your whole case, and it's very, very easy. You don't got to go through a whole thing. It's a website, and within 8 clicks or less, you can submit a claim to trusted attorneys. Again, this is 8 clicks or less. It's like ordering food on Uber Eats or like buying something on Amazon. That's how easy it is to submit a claim with Morgan & Morgan. And I know you're thinking, Mark, I'm sure these guys are awesome. I'm sure they're going to do a great job. I'm sure it's easy to submit a claim, but it's going to be so expensive. It's not. Because Morgan & Morgan has this amazing thing where they tie up their interests with your interests. Yes, you don't pay a single dime, not a single penny, not a single peso or rupee unless they win your case. You heard that right. Their fee is free unless they win your case. That's pretty amazing. You got nothing to lose. So if you're ever injured, what I want you to do is check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, I want you to go to forthepeople.com/Gagnon. That's right, forthepeople, forthepeople.com/GAGNON, or dial #law #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople, forthepeople.com/Gagnon, or dial #law #529 from your cell phone. This is a paid advertisement. That's how you know they're legit. They got legalese in the legalese. Let's get back to the show.
Whatever you're afraid to say in front of them, I now challenge you to just double down on that. Like, whatever joke you're looking at, like, they don't know me. That might not fly. I'll tell 3 of those motherfuckers at night. How many more do you have that are like that? And dude, you will fucking start fucking killing, dude. I swear, dog. It's my soul mentality that's gotten me this far. Is like be a yellow duck in a white duck pond. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't got to quack or fucking flap. You know what I'm saying? I'm just constantly the yellow duck in the white duck pond because I'm going to be me in every situation.
How long did it take you for you to know yourself?
Shit, I don't, musically or human-wise? Human-wise, I'm still dealing with what I deal with. I mean, this is I'm scared of this up here, Bubba. I don't, I sleep bad. I just have a lot of unhealthy habits because of the way I think. But professionally, fuck 1,000 shows, 700 songs.
Long time.
I have a long catalog of music of who I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Of like maybe who I was in that moment, but not who I would grow to be, or just not even who I was as far as like I didn't know what I was doing. So we were like testing it in real time. Like all the fucking shit like not to constantly compare, but I'd love to find connection. Is like the jokes you throw away along the way that you're like, it's what you took. You had to tell it for a year to realize it wasn't good.
It's cute.
And sometimes you carried it, but but it just wasn't it. It's like I took a lot of those in the writing room. I'm releasing a lot of them, trial and error, but just doing it more than everybody did it.
Yeah.
I think that's the other side of my story that doesn't get told. When they're all excited about like, man, this is really poetic, as I said, that a 39-year-old wins this award. But it's also like, the other catch of that 39 is what I did for that all those years that it took me to get there was this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was this. It was just constantly, when you said it earlier about MSG for me is like, I said that to the head of iHeart when I first took the Jingle Balls. His name's Tom Pullman. I said, Tom, I want you to know I'm excited about these because I'm going to have to go out here and really fire some stuff up. Like I know I got to dig deep, and I spent 10 years playing bars for people that didn't even know I was going to be there. You know what I'm saying? Could you imagine going out with your friends and there's a band there and you're like, and they're singing original music?
Yeah. I mean, that's all the early open mics. Yeah. You go to a coffee shop and there's an ambush of comedy. And motherfuckers are typing papers like, he just said 9/11 is what? It's crazy.
No, see, that's crazy, right? And dudes are like, yo, fucking, I picked the wrong place to take my girl on a date. This is loud and obnoxious and I don't even know the song.
Yeah.
We're up there singing original music.
They're passing you with things. They're like arms wide open.
Yeah,
like, that's not what this
is. They won't request. I'm like, yeah, we only know like 6 covers. We're gonna play them, but it's because we got to do 2 hours and we don't have enough original music to fill it.
Pass me the chords. Maybe we can work something out.
But it's like, yeah, for sure. But you do that for so long, then it's like,
Yeah. But just artistically knowing yourself, that is, I think, like my biggest challenge is getting to a point where I'm like, okay, this is really what I'm willing to like live and die for creatively. This is I'm complete, especially with stand up, because like that journey is just like so much more turbulent in my opinion. But yeah, getting to that point where I'm like, this is just what it is. And you guys can either love it or hate it. And like Schulz is such a good testament to that. And I don't know, I need to actually ask him like how long and what that process was for him.
Yeah.
But I'll just see him go up in front of like just crowds that, especially early on. Now everyone knows him, but like, I see him go up at like Cellar and it's just like a bunch of like Chinese tourists or something, or just like people that might be outside of his purview, especially in that time. And it's the same energy. He keeps it the exact same and they get on board. And I just remember watching that being like, damn, that is so special. And it's the same with you.
What did he always say? Everyone can catch these jokes?
Yep.
It's like, I think that was the mentality for him, right?
Yeah.
And that's what got him to the promised land. And I think that's just who y'all are. But, dude, every time I've seen you, you've killed.
No, I appreciate that, man.
I've never seen you not kill. I think I've seen you twice, 3 times now. I hadn't seen you as much as I'd like to. But I've seen you for them 2 shows in Nashville, and I've seen you in Florida once. But I think fucking, dude. Where are you working out here too, though? Are you going to? Or where are you working out at?
A bunch in the city, New York Comedy Club, right over here. Old Man Hustle is an awesome little spot.
Really?
And then like there's these like little independent shows. Like there's like the really cool like independent scene that's awesome, where it's just like young dudes like running their own shows, just like in basements of buildings and shit, like building their own clubs basically.
Yeah.
Like Sesh is an awesome one, and just going in and doing these shows is
what you were doing Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That so I'll finish up. That's when I texted y'all.
Yeah.
And y'all were at Carbone.
Yeah, you should have came.
Yeah, no, I wanted to. I had to go see my baby. I had to go see my wife.
Did I send you a drunk video that night?
No.
Okay.
I wish.
You're the only one that didn't get one. I sent Schulz one. I think I sent Alex one. I spread them out. I think because we already text, but I think all my other friends, I was like, come here.
Yeah.
I was. Let me tell you how drunk I got. And I don't like to brag about drinking because, you know, one, there's a misconception about my sobriety, like publicly, like because I represent the recovery community, but my sobriety's different. That's why I respect the people that work the program and like really got sober. So I try to walk that fine line of respect for that. And I don't drink. I've drank so much less. You knew me my cocaine days. I got off. I'm sober now, right? Yeah. Compared to who the guy you met, but. It's like I'll still have a drink, and I only do it when I celebrate. So I've told 2 drunk stories on this fucking podcast. It's not pleading a good case here, but I probably got drunk, I don't know, a handful of times this year, literally. But every one of them were like the monumental occasions, and every one of them were just ridiculously bad. We're at Mario Carbone spot eating spicy rigatoni. I'm feeling fancy, dog. And I got my whole band in there. We're just as white trash and motherfucking redneck as you can imagine.
Can you explain Mario Carbone for people not from New York?
Dude, it's like, I don't really know. I get it now because I'm a part of it, but it's like one of the hardest tickets in town. It's like the most known chef in town. It's like, it's just fucking like, the food is, the hype is real. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the real thing. And he opened up like this. So anyways, we're doing it, like, we're all in there just fucking top shelf, 5-star. My dude's a fucking chef. How would I describe Mario Carbone?
Just like the hot, impossible to go to restaurant in New York.
Yeah. It's like the hot impossible spot, right? It's like, it's not Rayo's, but very close. You know what I mean? But it's like, we're in there just, this is how drunk I get. By the time we leave, we done ate a couple hours before that. I see one of the fucking street meat stands, and now here we are, fucking all blackout drunk with a belly full of spicy rigatoni, eating fucking hot dogs.
You might be the only motherfucker to ever leave Carbone and be like, "Yo, hot dogs right here."
Yeah, I'm like, we can get a glizzy right here, dude. You know, and he's putting like Dijon mustard on. It was fucking horrible.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
that's fire.
Yeah, it was a good night though.
I don't know if you're able or want to talk about this, but you were told me that the other night that we were going to do this, we couldn't do it because you were going to meet up with a gentleman named Pharrell.
Yes, that's a true story.
What?
You know when you're putting this out?
This will be probably a couple weeks.
Okay, we'll talk by then. Normally I'll let anything go out, you know that. Yeah. But I want to make sure I don't get in trouble for this. But this should be clear by then.
Yeah, this might even be January.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Just for this story.
Yeah.
But maybe you save this clip and we put it out later and use it to promote it anyway. We'll talk about it, whatever. So I got a call from Pharrell's team about doing a record. And he sent me this record. And it is like the most Pharrell fucking song ever. But it's like the subject matter is about a man who meets a lady of the night. Then they end up running off together and getting married. And it's for Fashion Week because Pharrell's now the head creative of Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
So it's like the runway song. So Pharrell calls and I'm like, one, I'm blown away because this is like, for me, this is the craziest call ever that Pharrell's looking for me. You know what I mean? We're only doing one, right? Yeah. That Pharrell's looking for me. And I'm like, holy shit. So I get on there with Pharrell and we talk about the record. And then I go home and I just keep listening to the song over and over again. And then I call Pharrell back and I'm like, and I had a moment then where like, this is where I like truly believe that God and the universe work the same. I had a moment where I was like, I don't think he knows. So I called him back and I was like, this is my story, Pharrell. He was like, huh? I was like, yeah, let me explain something to you about my wife. And in the record, like even in the record, he says, the savings, you can have it. I got a mobile home and a G-Wagon. There's plenty to live off and we'll be fine, right? And in that moment, I'm like, you know, my wife's a lady of the night, dog, and we met and she like took care of me. It's like a famous story, kind of like, you know, that she ended up having some money and kind of put me on and financed my career. And all she wanted when I got rich was a G-Wagon. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, she's got a G-Wagon now. And he was like, it was just like the most insane thing ever. I'm going back right now. After today to find, I've spent 3 days doing vocals for one song. It's that important to me.
And so he's just sent it to you Without knowing the details of the story?
Nothing. Just like heard the speech at the CMAs, checked out Save Me. Like just in that moment was like, yo, this is the guy. Like it was, I don't even know how it all came together. He just called like inspired by the story and was like, yo, I think this works great. I think it's a collab nobody would see coming. You know what I mean? And just sends the record over. And like, he just enjoyed me on some like art shit. Like what didn't get like deep into the story. Just knew that I was a turned rehabilitated man that had, you know, been in trouble most of his life. He just knew like the basis of the story. And it was just like he loved the music, and it was crazy, dog.
How weird is the universe, bro? I got goosebumps. I'm like, how weird is that?
It is. This song is so sick, man.
And so you actually went in there and worked with him?
No, we did it all FaceTime because,
really?
He's in Paris. He's in London or fucking wherever. France. What is that? I'm so geographically challenged. I'm like, what? Where is Paris? It's in France, right?
Yeah, in France.
Okay, he's in France, dude.
That's
getting
so
ready
crazy.
for the biggest fucking fashion week. Fashion week's like first week of January or something.
And so now
January.
you're on the song that's gonna be in Fashion Week?
Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. I'm going to send it over today. I hope it gets completely approved. It's a few more hurdles. Here's the cool thing. If it doesn't work, we're really going to put this out because then it's the greatest story that never happened.
Bro.
But if it does happen, it's even cooler.
What an insane, what is your life, bro?
It's fucking I don't even know.
How are you involved with Fashion Week? Isn't that so crazy?
Yeah, right. That of all things,
I
was
wear
like,
leather vests. What do you, that should be a Fashion
for
Week.
sure. I'm like, yo, fucking, I'm denim and leather, dude.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
And then did you guys chopped it up? Did you ask him any questions?
Yeah, tons. Well, we didn't get to chop it up that deep yet, but he's going to come to Nashville and we're going to work together when he gets done with the thing. We're going to spend some like real time cooking.
Oh, that's so wild.
Yeah, because he loves the songwriting too. So he's like, yo, I want to get in and write with you. So I thought it was really cool, man.
I mean, he's a true artist. Like he's a true, which is pretty obvious at this point, but I don't know. Anyone that just knows him from like, Happy or whatever, like pop songs or whatever, I'm like, really look into it.
His notes for the first pass of vocals I sent him were like super cool. They were like very nice. And then when he wanted me to change something, like he just speaks like such a composer.
Really?
Yeah, man. It's like it's different, man. I see, like, it's so fun working with everybody because I'm sure you see it in your career. Like everybody does it a little different. You know what I mean? And the little differences are the things that make it great. They're the little nuances to me that like make people great, and it's like his approach is so cool.
You feel like he knows how to like push you in the right way and kind of play you a little bit.
100%.
Yeah, like he can coach you, so to speak.
Exactly. He knows how to lift you up and then like gently get you to be like, yo, that's incredible. Let's tweak this here. Let's do that. And this'll change if we just put a little bit here. And then you hear him say it, or I read the message and I'm like, yo, he's spot on. You know what I mean? Like it's, he is who he is. Like, It's like, I was thinking about this the other day. I have maybe only met a couple of people yet that are really successful in art, in the art and what we and you do, that you leave away from there and go, how the fuck are they successful? Like 7 out of 10 times I leave and I'm like, oh,
that's what's going on.
That's why he's so fucking good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah. I mean, I remember seeing that video of him and Maggie Rogers. You ever see that?
Oh yeah. Like
where she's just a student at NYU, and as a part of like her thesis or whatever, gets to show him like a song she made, and his face immediately. I'm like, I love music. Really, I'm like obsessed. I listen to every different genre. I'm so hooked. And like, if I showed you my Spotify top 5, you'd be like, how do these make any sense? So, but I don't know hits like the way that true musicians do.
Right.
And just seeing him immediately off the first note of like this track this college girl makes, he goes, oh, this is special. And now she's this massive artist selling, all over and fans all over the world. And he just knows it immediately.
Oh, dude, he does it. Him calling me that's how I felt, by the way. You know what I mean? It's like, if he recognizing something in me, there's something here I don't even see.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like there's something I still haven't seen yet that if he sees it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when you start getting those kind of phone calls, those are the ones that you're like, it's also crazy because he's one of the few people that intimidates me so much. There's a few people in my life like that now that like when they send me a message, sometimes it takes me days to respond because I just don't fuck with my phone. I don't know where it's at now. But but sometimes it's because it's like, I'm scared. I don't even know how to respond. You know what I mean? I'm like, just don't respond. You won't fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want to blow this relationship. You know what I'm saying?
You
like,
get the flight or the fight or flight or freeze.
You're just like, I just freeze. I'm just
freezing.
freezing. I'm just like, maybe not saying anything can work better than me saying the wrong thing.
Yeah, or you like type 3 texts and you're like, this shit, what am I? Who am I? I got to write this a different time or whatever.
Yeah, this is why I now send videos and voice notes. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just right in the spot. You at least catch who I am.
Intonation, you get the vibe.
You know what I'm saying? You're forced to watch me for 18 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'll get my thought off.
I know that exact feeling of like someone putting so much belief in you that you believe in yourself a little more. Like, which for you at this point, it just seems so crazy. You know what I mean? Like I can use the help for me. Like it always feels good. Like anytime a comic I really, respect. Like I was telling Mark Normand, I opened for him when I was in Florida, still in college or whatever. And he told me, he's like, hey, I like that joke. Like after I got off stage. And then for like the next, year, I was like, this is my best joke. It wasn't my best joke, but in my mind, I was like, if Norman liked it, then it's, there's something here worth liking.
Yeah, he's so good.
Oh yeah, he's the man. He's the man. But do you remember like the first person
he fulfilled a dream of mine and he didn't know it.
What, Normand?
Yeah, he don't know it, but he fulfilled a dream of mine. I got to tell him this one day. I'm such a fan of comedy, like you know this. Like one, I said this on Theo, and it's important to reiterate this. I think it's important to never be too cool to be a fan. Like, I think that's just an important trait to have. Like, it's just like, that's a sour spirit when you're afraid to be a fan of something, you know what I mean? And secretly, like every other fan of comedy, real fans of comedy, every time I've walked into a comedy club, I've went, I hope they light me up in here tonight. You know what I mean? Like, I hope somebody dogs me out.
Really?
You know? Not like overdo it, obviously, but it's like, so this is an open invitation, motherfuckers. I know a lot of our friends watch this, but I just always wanted to hear somebody make a jelly roll joke. You know what I mean? And I hope to get famous enough one day that that's a real dream of mine, low key, is to like be a joke. You know what I mean? Like not a joke like in a bad way, but like where if you said a joke about me, the crowd would get it. You know what I'm saying? Because they at least knew who I was.
It's like when a rapper puts you in a bar. You're like, yo, I'm barable.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like if a jelly roll story ever made it to a bit, I would fucking be the happiest man ever. But he's like, Mark comes on stage, and I think it was either right before or right after I went on, and he goes, I just took a picture with Bert Kreischer and Jelly Roll backstage, with Mark's accent that I can't do. And he was like, I just took a picture with Bert Kreischer and Jelly Roll backstage. And he goes, I thought I was standing in the middle of one of them Mark just quick zingers, just a blood pressure commercial or something. You know what I mean? It was like, it was just, and he had another like obesity joke right behind it or something about, like cholesterol or something. Yeah. But I was just backstage like crying. And it was so true to comedy that I just come out and did music, and he was like, well, if I got to follow a fucking musician right now, I got to at least, I got to attack the obvious here. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's the beauty of Mark, though, that to your point where he Norman is like so comfortable with who he is that he's like, yeah, I'm going to make a joke about this guy, and I hope he takes it the right way. You know what I mean? But he's confident enough, and you can see that in him. It's authentic, and you go, yeah, of course, it's a joke, and you're cool with it.
Of course, when he came backstage, I hugged him and thanked him. I was like, that's the fucking coolest thing ever. I asked for the clip for Bert the next day. I was like, send that clip to me, Bert.
Would you ever do a roast?
Yo, dream of mine. This is a real dream of mine, right? To the point I think I'm going to pitch it to Dorfman from Nashville. Yeah. Dorfman's like a uncle to me now. And I turn 40 next year. And I'm not like a me guy. I'm not an ego guy. And because of that, a dream for me would be a roast. Like at the comedy club, friends and family only. You know what I'm saying? And fucking like get Tony Hinchcliffe or fucking Jeff to fucking MC it. Schulz and y'all come down. You know what I mean? Like my friends, Theo, like that would be like the dream for me. To have them four just fucking fire at me. No phones, no cameras, just fucking let's all get fucked up and just that would be like the best birthday ever.
When's your birthday? What month?
December.
Oh, when is it?
4th. It's 3, 4, 5 days ago?
God damn. I texted you. I now remember. Yeah.
Yeah, we were texting on my birthday.
Oh shit. Then you gotta do that December next year. Dude, that day is just crazy. You got Hinchcliffe, Ross, Schulz, Theo.
Dude, it's a dream. Even if it's not for me, they should do it for somebody. God, what a fucking great. You tell me that wouldn't be like the fucking one of all ones.
Dude, it's cool to not monetize it all, not to make it a thing. Just just the homies come through.
For sure. No, 100. Not even really making some home. That would be like the heartfelt side of it. Hinchcliffe said he'd do it. We joke about it all the time. Hinchcliffe has, first of all, become one of my favorite humans on earth.
Yeah.
Me and him have hung out a lot. He came to my show in Austin. I've went to 4 of his shows in Austin now because every time I'm in Austin for something, I'm there on a Monday and we'll go to KillTony and he's lives the comedian life. That's what he does. Yeah. He's sits at the bar afterwards, chain smokes cigarettes, gets drunk, and fucking talks about jokes. It is the fucking best dude ever. But let me tell you something about you were talking about you love music. Mm-hmm. It's a great segue bringing my boy Tony into this. I have never met 2 people besides Joey Diaz that didn't do music that know more about music than Joe Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe.
Oh, yeah.
It is insane how much music they know. Tony Hinchcliffe sent me his Spotify playlist once. It's called Opus, he's so fucking silly. It's like the Tony Hinchcliffe's Opus of Humility or something, right? And it is 5 hours of music. And I'll get fucking high on the bus some nights and just throw it on in rotation, just to, get out of my comfort zone. What the fuck's Tony listening to? It was the coolest thing ever, you know?
What kind of shit?
Dude, I mean, everything from fucking MF Doom to deep Eagles cuts. It's all over the place, dude. I mean, it's the wildest, fucking almost like Andre's flute album.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It just comes out. You're just like, what the fuck, Tony? It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I found so many songs where I'd forget what I was even listening to. So I'd look and I'd be it'll show the playlist at the top and I'd screenshot and I'll just text it to Tony never fucking heard this. This is sick. Really? An MF Doom song. I forgot which one it was. I just heard the other day on his playlist. I was like, this is so fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, those are.
But Joe was the same way when we were hanging. Every time we've ever hung out, man, he's turned me on to crazy rock songs, Kiss songs.
Oh, really?
I'd never heard before. You know what I mean? Joe is them dudes. No fucking music, man.
No, which is crazy. I feel like people don't always put that together because I guess he doesn't have I guess he has a decent amount of musicians on. Joe does, but he had this band I cannot remember. It was something Honey something, and they do a cover of Angel from Montgomery.
Ooh.
And which I love the Bonnie Raitt version is one of my favorite songs of all time, and they killed it so hard, and they're just on the show playing music. And I was like, that is so cool that Joe is so comfortable with his own show where he's like, yo, just come on, play music.
Oh, dude, every time Everlast goes on, he brings a guitar. It's the coolest thing ever, dude. Joe, the entire pod me and Joe did, I always explained it right afterwards, it was almost like 2 friends getting high and passing the auxiliary cable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He'd be like, oh, that's crazy. Have you ever heard this? And we're playing music. But then, of course, all night long, he's like, what about this? I'm like, we're banging records, him and Tony going back and forth, man. It's you've been to the mothership, right?
Yeah, of course.
Y'all went early, right?
Yeah.
I think y'all were down there real early if I seen right.
Have
you done it yet? You've went in there and told it's fucking such a special place, but specifically outside of the art that's happening, which is crazy, and the no phones, it's just everything I dream of that for a Saturday night. The bar downstairs, Mitzi's, at night is the fucking... I've walked out of there, I think 4 times, 5, maybe 6 times now, actually. Damn. And every time it was, didn't know what time it was when I left, didn't know what time it was when I came. It's fucking Hotel California.
For real, dude.
It is fucking awesome,
Alice
right?
in Wonderland shit. You
Dude,
just go in and you walk out on the street. You're like,
what the fuck was I? What just happened? There's not a light in there.
Yep.
The lights are low. The music's banging. The vibe's perfect.
Who was on the aux? Who was it? Do you remember?
I don't even remember that night because we were all just chatting up. But it was probably either one of Tony's or what's the bartender's name? Diamond's one of them. I think it might have been one of their playlists. But they, it's such a community.
Yeah.
All the staff is down there having cocktails afterwards. It's just different, man. It's really special.
I was listening to you and Joe talk about music, and I was pissed off, bro, because you never told me about Tool. I got heat for anyone that didn't tell me about Tool. All these years, I find out about Tool. I'm obsessed. They're my 4th most listened to band of this year.
It's the live show's even wilder.
I'm just why did no one talk to me about this?
No,
it's
dude.
insane. You've seen them live a few times?
Oh yeah, man. So Lollapalooza, 1997, I think was the first concert I ever went to, and it was Korn, Tool, Prodigy, Damian Marley, Snoop Dogg.
That's a lineup.
It was an insane lineup. And it was in an amphitheater outside of Nashville. And from that moment, I had a sister that didn't listen up to rock and roll, my sister Shelby. And the dude she's with now, she's been with since I was like 9 for like 30 years.
Oh, awesome.
His name's Dan. And Shelby and Dan listen to nothing but rock and roll music. And like, Dan would listen to a little hip hop. My brother Scott listened to nothing but hip hop. But everything from Tool to Nirvana to Pearl Jam, Metallica, Offspring, all that alt rock, that entire era, no doubt. I mean, for the whole spectrum of that, that's all Shelby listened to. So she turned me on to all that shit as a kid. Like,
Smashing Pumpkins.
Dude, Alice in Chains. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't listened to The Rooster in 4 years, probably 3 years, just because, maybe it'll come up in a playlist. I just don't listen to a lot of music these days.
Yeah.
And I could sing it word for word right now.
Yeah, it's crazy how those things get baked in your memory.
Forever.
Just etched in.
Just 100%. The tone of them, the feeling of them. You know what I mean?
Smell where you're at. Like it just brings back everything immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen those videos of dudes that'll have like, Parkinson's or Alzheimer's or something, and like their body's in degeneration, and they'll be able to put on headphones.
Yeah.
And they come back to life, bro.
For sure.
It is etched into your brain deep.
Music, man. Music is therapy. It's truly, to me, and that's back to the comedy talk, is entertainment. In fact, I'm going to do it a bigger spectrum, but especially music is like, nothing brings people together like art. You know what I mean? Like nothing makes people come together like art. We were the kind of family that music was our identity. Like, I remember more about the music my sister listened to than the clothes she wore. You know what I mean? Like, I can't really remember like what style she wore. You know what I mean? I can't really remember. I don't have any memories of her in this weird way except for her teaching me about music. You know what I mean? Every time I got my brother's car, it was like, listen to this. Like, in hindsight, how the universe works and God works is I never even realized that they were just like forcing music on me. We wasn't a musical family. Nobody played an instrument. We all sounded like shit when we sang together. That's why it took me 35 years to get the courage to try to sing. You know what I mean? It's like we were just like tone deaf, didn't know anything about music, but loved music.
Yeah.
And the feeling of music, like storytelling behind music, where they would tell you the story. Like my mother would tell me a whole story about a song before she played a song.
Yeah.
It'd be a 30-minute story for a 3-minute song. So by the time you got to the song, you were on the edge of your seat like a movie. You were like, what's about to happen?
Yeah. You just got the trailer. You got the
you know
setup for everything.
Yeah, I just got a half-hour skit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying about it? And then there would be a post log. Like we would have a whole post conversation about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just built into our brains, man. There's this. There's actually a researcher at Columbia that is a dancer that became a neuroscientist. So he's straight up does neuroscience research, and he's basically looking at like the human anthropological link between like music and language. And his research is basically pointing to the fact that music and dance, like singing, predates human language.
Yeah.
So literally, Homo sapiens, we've been speaking, some type of verbal language for, couple tens of thousands of years, but we've been singing, making music, as bipedal primates for hundreds of thousands. Like this shit is built into our brains deeper than even the words we're saying.
Oh.
How crazy is that? Oh. You know what I mean? Like that birds are singing.
Who is this guy? Has he got a podcast? I'd listen to it.
Eric, I cannot remember. Eric Jarvis, I think is his name. But a super interesting dude, and all this research he's doing, because he's a dancer. So he's like, dance is built in. Look at all the animals that dance. Look at all these other living organisms that dance and sing and make music. And we're the only ones that are really like, talking the way we're talking. And it just points to the fact that like, this shit is deep in there, bro. It's like
I love the way you're like, we're the only ones that are talking the way we're talking.
Because they're talking, but not really talking.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's real.
Like that shit bugs me out that birds talk. We never talk about that enough.
Yeah, right.
Like how crazy that the birds are just out here just chatting it up.
Yo, what do you know about birds?
Dude, they're so fascinating.
Because I got a question.
They're so
fascinating. Check this out.
What's up, guys? We're going to take a break really quick because we got to talk about your amazing dick game. Yes, you right now, listen to my voice, my deep, soothing voice. You have an amazing dick game. Or maybe you know someone with an amazing dick game. Maybe you got a boyfriend. Who knows? But if you have an amazing dick game, there's a way that you can make it better. And that's with the good people over at Bluechew. Bluechew is an amazing service that basically delivers a chewable tablet that has the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, all that stuff, but this is the chew. It's at a fraction of a cost, and it's never been easier to get your hands on the greatest dick game of your life. Never been easier. I'm telling you. You can go to bluechew.com and you can submit all your information to a licensed person, a legit person that will then mail you a discreet, very unassuming, but very, very powerful package. You know what I'm talking about? The powerful package to your home. That's how easy it is. You don't got to go talk to a doctor and be like, yeah, you know, I want, nope, easy. You got to just go on the internet, bluechew.com. I want to get the best dick given of my life. And that's how you do it. Easy as that. And for the listeners of this show, of this program, you are going to get free first month of Bluechew. You're going to be getting Bluechew for free. All you got to do is pay $5 shipping. That's a cup of coffee. Black to be delivering that BBC. You know what I'm saying? That's bluechew.com, BLUECHEW.com. Use the promo code Gagnon, GAGNON, and receive your first month for free. That's bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And thank you so much, Bluechew. I'm telling you, man, check out this product. Even if you're one of these people that's like, I don't know, I don't really need it. What are you talking about? It could be better. It can always be better. Let's say you're in the 1%, you're about to be in the 0.01% with Bluechew. Now let's get back to the show.
My wife is obsessed with crows.
Yeah, bro. We were just talking about this. There's a guy that I saw on the internet. This shit is so cool. I want to do it. Basically, crows are smart enough to understand reward. They understand reciprocity and fairness. They're one of the few animals that really know, like, hey, if I give you this, you have to give me something. Yeah. And if it's not of the right value, then I'm not going to give you the thing. Yeah. They understand it. And they're small brains. These are not like fully like they don't have frontal cortex. Yeah. So literally, this dude, he'll like all of a sudden he'll put like some bird seed out. And then he'll come out in the morning, the bird seed will be gone, and then it'll be like rubber bands and like a bunch of trash. Yeah. And he's like, oh, the birds are giving me shit. Yeah. And so what he'll do is when they bring him something nice, like maybe they'll bring him like a dollar bill or a coin or something, he starts putting like grapes out. He starts giving them the good shit. Yeah. And then when they bring back some more garbage, puts like, little seeds out. Yeah. But then they bring back the good shit, more grapes. And after a couple weeks of doing this, he's now getting like $300 a month of just these crows going around finding money on the ground, finding shit, robbing people, fucking doing stick-ups in the street. Like, yo, give me that fucking diamond. And they're jacking diamonds and shit. Like your bracelet will get robbed by 6 crows in New York. Sure, and just end up on a balcony over in fucking Bushwick. Because this dude is feeding and training these crows to bring him treats. How crazy is that, bro?
It's fucking,
he's running a mob.
That is what my wife is trying to do. Oh, yeah. She has been putting, she must have seen this guy because she sends me TikToks all day about fucking these birds, and she always has a conspiracy to get them. She put out like a shiny plate to get their attention with bird seed around it. And she says they can recognize faces. She believes this is her thing. It's deeper than what you even said even. She said that they have facial recognition and they like protect, warn, or like hold grudges against.
Yes, they'll fuck people up.
Yeah, it's like
there's people that I know that are like, yo, I can't go on that block. I'm like, why? They're like, yo, there's a couple crows that are trying to fucking get it back in blood. You know what I mean? These crows are pissed off, dude. You know what they call a group of crows? This is how you know they stand on business.
A fucking murder.
A murder, bro.
I know.
That's how you know these crows are about that fucking life. They couldn't call them a gang because it was already taken. So they'd be like, yo, this is above a gang.
I'm so glad I brought this up to you,
bro,
because I didn't believe her. I thought she was gassing me because I'm scared of crows.
Nope.
I'm petrified of crows.
Why, you got fucked by a crow?
Dude, I'm telling you.
Is this in prison?
No, I'm just scared.
I think there was a crow that was locked up. That was your cellmate.
There's a thing, man. Crows are just fucking, they're ominous. You know what I'm saying? It's like fucking, they don't look like the person that would deliver good news. And I guess I shouldn't judge them because I don't look like the person that would good. Damn.
Yeah. No, but storks
I should be the last person like that, huh? Fam, I just had a lesson, man. I feel guilty. People, bro. I'm the crow, and I'm hating on crow.
You judge the bird by its cover. You know what I mean?
Fuck, man.
But like swans, those are like good birds. You know what I mean? A stork, which I don't even know if storks are really real. I'll be honest, but apparently they seem like good birds. Yeah. But crows, ravens,
for sure.
There's something emo about.
Did you ever watch wrestling?
A little bit.
As soon as I hear Raven, I think about
he's coming on the show.
No way.
Yeah.
You swear.
Yeah.
God, does he know you don't know anything about wrestling?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
But he's coming on. I found his story. I thought he was so interesting. He had an amazing match against Undertaker, I think.
Yeah.
That was like unbelievable. And he seemed like he was about to be the next dude.
Yeah.
And then it didn't exactly pan out the exact right way for him. And I think he's got like a really interesting perspective on where his career is and kind of where it went. I just think he's like a really interesting guy. He's got like 150 IQ.
Wow.
And so like he knows these things about himself, is extremely intelligent, and is also busting chairs over dudes' heads.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by these people.
With one of the greatest wrestling gimmicks ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. God, I'll watch that one. I'm in.
Yeah. I mean, you're a wrestler at this point. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right. You seen that,
I
dude?
saw you
I'm
in
practically
WWE.
Randy Orton's tag team partner.
But how did that happen? How are you in WWE?
I keep reaching here like I have another water. Is there another water around here? There is a Fiji. I knew I wasn't tripping. There it is. Thank you. Just pull the plastic off. Is that fine?
No, I mean,
I'll just pull the plastic off.
If you want. I give free promo. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, well, I just don't want you to get this taken down because I was didn't want to give Poland Spring their fucking just due. Sorry, Bubba.
But
Just high enough to hydrate. You ever get so high you're like, I should drink a water. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling
you remember about water?
Yeah,
you just remember,
yeah.
you're like, yo, water's out
I'm
here.
like, yo, I'm parched.
I'm made
I
of
got
water.
a full IV a minute ago, and I'm like, I could use a water.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But how do you end up on WWE? How does that?
A fan. Never too cool to be a fan, dude. I'm telling you. Another little philosophy I'll drop on y'all, man. It's like, never too cool to be a fan. I went to like wrestling in the fairgrounds when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about this, of all the bullshit that comes with the era we're in right now, it enables me with my schedule where I have trouble even keeping up with my wife at times. You know what I mean? Because her schedule's so crazy. Of like, I can kind of keep up with pop culture and what's happening with just 2 hours a week on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can kind of see. So like, I've kept up with what's going on in wrestling the last few years, just like, okay, this guy's back, this guy left, these guys are fighting, these are the dudes that are coming in for the title, these are these storylines, these are these arcs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've always been like kind of kept up with it. But I never get to go, you know what I mean? It's just like anything else in life, we're just working. But they were in Nashville on Monday Night Raw, and I'd hit my boy Neil. Neil Lowy is the head of music at WWE. He's been there 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Before I was worth meeting, Neil came and met with me.
Head of music as in?
Like all the music you hear, because there's a lot of music in
making the shit?
No, like licensing, finding partnerships, finding the right artists for the right events. They do events, they do concerts, they have artists walk people out, the business of the music.
Yeah.
But
The
it's like
music's huge.
but he was in the music business. He was a record label guy. But he came to the WWE 20 years ago. So he's like he's a real music dude. You know what I mean? Like he really gets, like really respected dude in the music business. And they told me he wanted to meet with me. This is probably 4 years ago. And I was like, dude, that was not worth meeting. You know what I mean? I was at the office y'all came to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I had a cool thing going, but it was very, very, shedded. And but he came and he was like, dude, I just want to let you know I think this thing's going to work for you. WWE loves you. I was like, I'm a huge fan too. He's like, I heard that. That's why I want to come see you. I just want to come tell you that we love you. And next year we're doing SummerSlam in Nashville. We'd love you to come out and sit ringside, and we have a song we'd like for you to do for it. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, man. Just, I just wanted to extend, like, dude, I'm telling you, I'm like, Save Me. I don't even think Save Me was out yet.
Yeah.
I think I just dropped Creature with Tech Nine, and there was like a thing happening, but it was like, I was selling 1,500 tickets in the South. You know what I mean? I was doing well and making a good living, but not enough for the fucking me to have the dude that's been with WWE 20 years here. So we've just been friends ever since. You know what I mean? We've been buddies ever since. So
how did it feel go to ringside? Like
it was everything about it, dog. I was like, this is how much of a nerd I am. I cleared the afternoon and I said, how early can I come? You know what I mean? I was like,
I've never seen someone line up for comp tickets.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I was like,
around the
how
corner.
early can I come? And
because that wasn't Jelly Roll going to that. That was Jason from Antioch. You know what I mean?
For
like,
sure. I was like, yo, this is big.
Yeah.
And they called, but then they said, hey, can we do a promo that you're here? We'll film it backstage. I was like, that'd be thank you. Like, what a great look, So I was like, what time do I need to be there? He's like, well, we'll probably do what we need you to do at like 5:30. I was like, how early can I come? He was like, oh, you really want to come hang? I was like, I want to hang, Neil. He was like, as early as you want. He was like, 3 o'clock. I show up at 2:52. You know what I'm saying? And I come in, and I just wanted to meet all the wrestlers. And Neil, this is a testament to who he is as a human. Dude, he stayed with me all night, took me to every dressing room. I met every wrestler. I met the whole backstage. And even the storyline with me and Randy wasn't as written as it was organic of like me meeting Randy and like there actually being like feeling like respecting what each other did, him being aware of who I was and, you know, respecting, like, it was really cool. He's from East Tennessee. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, it was just got really cool. And it ended up being like even more, I knew it was going to be a special night, but it was like special. And when they told me, hey, the promo you're cutting, R-Truth's coming back for the first time in a year. If Ron Killings is like, I'm a fan. And he does rap too. He's like, I just love everything about him. He's the funny dude, but he raps. He's got a really cool story outside of his gimmick, like prison, reform, changed his life, shit. Wrestling saved his life, like a really just like do it kind of dude, you know? So I was like, dude, I get to be like, I knew CM Punk was coming back. I was like, what a crazy night for me to be here. And then I got to get involved in the Randy match and get a little physical. So that was even cooler.
And you met all of them?
Met everybody.
That night. Who's the person you were most nervous to walk in that green room?
I think Randy, CM Punk.
Yeah.
Where I was at watching this, Mark, I'm standing backstage in this area, they have an area they call, I don't know, Gorilla or whatever. It's a cool name. It's after Gorilla Monsoon, but it's right backstage. And CM Punk just walks in and Neil grabs him and is like, hey, Jelly's over here. And CM Punk walks straight over and, dude, so awesome. Such a good dude, just chill. We hang, kick it for a minute. Randy was the same way. Jay Priest, you know what I'm saying? The Usos. I mean, everybody, dude. It was like genuinely, nobody was just even passing by like Becky Lynch. Nobody was like obligatory, hey, nice to meet you. Everybody was like, we sat and chatted. Like it was, it's such everything you hear about the locker room of the WWE is, at least in this era of the WWE, is real. So you know what I mean? It was, dude, everything about that night was one of the coolest nights ever, man.
Dude, do you ever watch NXT?
Oh, yeah.
Whatever happened to Bo Leave? What was his name? Bo Dallas? Is that his name?
Mm-mm.
Do you remember this dude? He was like a long-haired dude. I went to a couple NXT matches because they were filmed in Orlando.
Yeah.
So like when I was living there, my brother's obsessed with wrestling.
Yeah.
So we would go all the time, and we saw a bunch of those dudes. I'm trying to remember who was there. That night we were there, I think his name was Bo Dallas, but his whole thing is Bo Leave. He was like an inspirational guy. That was like his gimmick. He's like, anything's possible. He was like Tony Robbins, or like Dave Goggins. You know what I mean? It was so funny. But yeah, there was another.
That's probably what happened to him.
What?
Doesn't sound like an easy one to get over. You know what I'm saying? You walk out in front of, because like wrestling fans, first of all, let me tell you about wrestling fans too. You been to like a big one?
No, just NXT. Never like SummerSlam or anything.
You got to go.
Yeah.
You got to go to like even just
WrestleMania.
like a Raw. Oh, dude, WrestleMania.
It'd be like the dream.
We should go together this year.
Where is it?
I think it's here.
Oh, yeah, they did it here last year. I think,
No, then
too.
it's somewhere up here. It's like Philadelphia. You know how that is. It's somewhere in the East Coast.
Yeah.
But we should go for real. But it's the most like little things I noticed. I didn't see a cell phone unless they were lighting the room up together. And they all are so invested in this, they know those moments. Like there's certain moments in the show where like you'd hear a sound and somebody was going to come out and you would just watch 16,000 phone lights go up and you're like crazy, you know, but like they're so into the match. It's constant commentating going on around you, like everybody's watching it in their living room still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's fucking
Who's this
constant.
new dude? LA Knight? Is that his name?
Yeah, because like when people are boxing, it's so intense. Everybody's watching.
Oh, yeah.
You just hear a ooh or damn. You know what I mean? Like there, motherfucker missed something. You hear a dude go, you knew you wasn't going to get that. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that to Randy Orton.
Yeah, it's a peanut gallery.
Yeah, it's it's people watching it in their living room, but with each other.
And the through lines go so deep. Like everyone knows everything.
Yeah.
Like who's the big Samoan dude? You know him? He's like this big, like he would do this shit. He would like bounce his hand. He was
Is he current or older?
I mean, somewhat current. I saw him at NXT. He was
Probably
like
the Usos.
Maybe, yeah.
But they're like huge. The Uso brothers, I believe, is what they're called. Or the Uso twins.
Maybe. No, they weren't twins. But no, I would love to get more into it. I really like. I love the fanfare. I love like the spectacle.
It's
like,
awesome.
I'm so fascinated by Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
I mean, what a genius.
I mean, listen, for lack of sounding anything short of a dad right now. It's really good family fun.
You go with your kids?
Yeah, well, I would take Bailey for sure.
Yeah.
But like what I experienced, because I don't want to say I was working that night, but I knew I had stuff to do. I didn't bring my son. I wanted to. He's 7, but he's a lot to. My 15-year-old, she'll go find her way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My 7-year-old, you got to be like, where are you? You know what I'm saying? Hold my shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But my 15-year-old's in the parking lot smoking weed with a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking like, what's going on here? It's a totally different dynamic.
I mean,
but from what I'm feeling in the crowd, you know what I mean? Like it's edgy, so you still feel edgy. It's still kind of gangster. It still touches big audiences, like people the kind of guys you don't think go to wrestling. Yeah. It's like cool. It's like not just a kid thing. It's like a really cool thing. It's like a lot of beer in there too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, you smelt beer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like
kind of nice energy.
I love when you smell beer in a place. Like, you know, there's a different thing happening when the distinct smell of beer
You go to
is
basketball
around.
games, it's not really beer smell. You know
You
what I
don't
mean?
really smell beer.
Yeah, it's a specific
It's a
arena enclosed event.
UFC, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like those things, you smell beer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love it, dude.
Is it crazy that now arguably the biggest wrestler of all time, The Rock, is like hitting you up? Is that so weird?
Dude,
like, this
that's
is a guy you
another one.
watch, probably.
Yeah,
Like,
that's another one that I struggle with because, like, when he sends me a voice memo, dude, I've overthought him 1,000 times, right? Because I'm like, and I feel like we're really friends now. Like, I mean, dude, he posted my album on his big page.
how crazy.
The cover. You know what I mean? The day it released.
Yeah.
Like, he is just the fucking greatest dude ever on earth. He's like Joey Diaz. He just calls to uplift you and tell you he sees you and he's proud of you and he's constantly trying to link. Where are you at? What city? Are we close to each other anytime? Like, his spirit is just unmatched. His bandwidth in life.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen nobody more fit to run our country than him because of his bandwidth.
For real.
Like his ability to just have so much going on, but still know the micro details of everything that he thinks is cool or everything happening. And like, he's just, I could not praise him enough who he is as a human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he posted my first song of mine in 2017.
Oh, really?
I was selling 500 tickets.
I mean, how does a guy like
I
The
couldn't
Rock,
do
like,
2 nights at Zany's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In Nashville. You know what I mean? It's like I'd have to, maybe 2 shows on a Friday if I was lucky. You know what I mean?
Did he say how he discovered you?
Just random playlisting.
Really?
Just found the song, saved it, loved the song, followed up, found the story, seen I was from Nashville. He has a lot of like real Nashville roots. I don't like telling his stories, but look him up, or maybe hopefully one day he'll do this or he'll do Flagrant, and y'all will get to ask him. But he's got like, I'm sure he will actually. He's got really like Nashville stories, like Broadway, the teenage years, like high school even. I think he actually went to McGavick for one point of time. Like,
Interesting.
he had some real formative years in this town.
Yeah.
So when he realized I was a local, because now there's 2 Nashvilles, right? And I always want to clear this up. There's Nashville country music. So some people go, yeah, my Nashville guys. Like, I've said it on this pod. I'm referring to like the country music people, like, because that's the Nashville way, quote unquote, because that's the business of Nashville. But then there's Nashville, which is us. You know what I'm saying? That's the other side, the bartenders, the local 46 union, the fucking, you know what I'm saying? The valet parkers, the police, the first responders. You know what I mean? Like the people that, the backs of which the other Nashville was built on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He understands that side of Nashville.
Right.
So when he got that, he was like, oh, I totally understand what you're doing.
Wow.
And like very early was like, trust me, people will get it. Just keep being you. Like very early, like 17, 18, this was telling me like, trust me, just keep doing that. People are going to get it.
I mean, that's so cool. Just like a real music fan.
For sure.
Like going through a playlist, finding a dude you never heard of.
Could you imagine just working out and hearing a song on a playlist, stopping to like it like everybody else? That's what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the most average dude shit ever, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just really, really cool.
You ever hit people up now? Like if you find like a real small artist, less than 1,000 listeners on whatever, like do you ever like hear a song, go, what the fuck is this? And then find them and hit them up?
All the time.
Really?
Oh, I'd say once every month or two. If I hear something I think's cool, and I'll just tell them, hey, man, I think it's going to work.
Super small. Like we're talking like, you know, less than 5,000 on Instagram or something like that.
Yeah. Relatively small, for sure.
That's so cool.
I found some really small ones.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what is the energy that you get back?
They're always blown. They're always the dude. Just thanks for even caring. You know what I mean? It depends on, like, that's where you can learn a lot about a person. Sometimes they immediately pitch you stuff.
Interesting.
You know how that goes, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
immediately, like, oh, we should do this song together. I got one. You know what I mean? Or like, and then sometimes they're like, man, this is just awesome. Thanks for checking it out. You know, I appreciate that you're tapped in. You know what I mean? Like, you just never know. You know what I mean? Like, but it's either way. I just want to respect the art. When I think something's like, I'm very like, I think to me this all comes down to art. Like, it's a word I use as frequent as possible because I think it's important that what we do is referred to in that way because this is fucking different. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what you do is fucking Picasso, bub. You know what I mean? Like, this shit isn't like to be thrown away like it's just jokes or it's just music. Like, this is fucking full-blown timeless art. You know what I mean? Like, we have the ability to make stuff that will live far beyond us forever. Yeah. I watched Cher at Madison Square Garden the other night at 77 years old, and I watched an arena full of Olivia Rodrigo, 12-year-old fans singing If I Could Turn Back Time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's absolute madness what this is to us. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just want to always praise art.
Yeah.
You know, especially the brilliant ones. That's why I want to come do this with you, dude. I think you're fucking awesome.
Thank you, man.
You know what I mean?
Thank
like,
you.
fucking, I was excited. Theo, I got to do this past weekend last week, and every time I get to get around Theo, he's just a great energy. He's a good friend. But, man, I wanted to do his podcast, one, for the look. Fuck, it's a great look. It's like Joe Rogan. It's the Joe Rogan effect,
like
not experience.
Sixth biggest podcast in the world right now?
Dude,
like
he is on fire. And I just want to go tell him that. I just want to go see him on his pod and be like, yo, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
But, dude, I told Joe Rogan, I'm never going to call it the Joe. I told Cameron Haynes this, too. I'm never going to call it the Joe Rogan experience again. Ever. It is the Joe Rogan effect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, man, when you get on Rogan.
Yeah.
And it was different for me as a musical artist because I was telling Joe this, I got to see the tangible of it because he's on Spotify. It's the only way to hear Joe. Right? So, like, we got to see data of, like, how many people went straight from podcast to a listener. Like, how the correlation was on that platform from immediate. Because you got to think, as a music artist, Joe Rogan's the cheat code.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about it neither. I just knew he was the biggest podcast on earth. But more than anything, I knew I was a fucking huge fan. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I knew. You know what I mean? I'm a fucking huge fan. This is fucking Oprah. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is in the 90s. He's Oprah.
Was it,
you know what I'm saying?
nerve-wracking?
No, because Joe don't make it that way. You've met Joe.
Yeah.
Joe don't make any. Joe makes you feel like you fucking grew up next to him in Boston.
Yeah, he goes
You know what
out
I'm
of his
saying?
way to make you comfortable. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
he's just so like, Joe doesn't give a fuck about anything.
yeah.
And like, not that, like, meaning like nothing bothers Joe. He gives a fuck about everything. He's the most caring dude ever. But like, he's just unbothered, dude. You feel that on him. He's like, hey, man, come have a seat, dude. We're just going to chat, man. You know what I mean? It's like fucking, he makes you feel like there's not a camera rolling.
But is it strange for you being such a fan? Like, you listen to Joe for a long time.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you get a call to then go be there.
Yeah.
Be with him.
For sure.
Was it like, were you like a little nervous? Were you like, oh, it should be this way? Like, were you like, did you think about it a lot? Or were you just like, oh, I'm just going to go catch a vibe?
Well, I had heard I was lucky enough that by that time, me and Theo are close. Me and Shab are good friends. I love Shab to death. Me and Schulz are super close. Like, I'd already developed these friendships of people that were his friend that were already, me and Brad already done Bert's pod a couple times. Like, I'd already had this kinship where everybody was like, you got to meet Joe. They started people started hitting me with the like, yo, we got to get you with Joe.
Oh, you never met him before?
No, I'd never met him. So I knew Joe knew who I was because when I first met Joe, he was like, I walked through the green room, beside the green room, and I thought he was having a conversation. So I just tried to get through, and he was like, yo, what's up, fucker? You know, or whatever Joe does. And he gives me a big hug, and we squeeze, and I'm like, man, I love you. Joe's like, I love you too, man. He's like, man, listen, whatever you want tonight, it's just, I want you to have the night of your life. I was like, thank you. And they just start feeding us tequila, and I go back in the, you know what I mean? It was, I go back in the green room and met Ron White and hung out because I think Derek was there. So Derek and David Lucas, the homies from the comedy club in Nashville, because, you know, I'm a regular at Zany's, like a fucking nerd, and I just barge in the green room on everybody. But lucky for me, they're my friends, and they were like, come on, you got to come back here and meet Ron. You got to come hang out with Tony and, you know, whatever. It was just like that kind of a night, you know what I mean? And the next day, Joe hit me himself on Instagram, was like, we should do the pod. Yeah, it was one of the greatest calls I ever got. I'd never been more excited. So, and I told him this, man, for like, my wife started making me doing vision boards in January of 2017. So every January, we get together and we put like a dream board. You know what I mean? She does like the vision boards where she cuts stuff out of magazines and you can see it. And it comes true for her. It's crazy. I just did like 1 through 10. Like, these are the 10 things I want to achieve. You know what I mean? And every year, the number 1 was Joe Rogan Experience. You know what I mean? Because I thought that, you know, like, I learned this from listening to him too, is that just like seek things you're a fan of and then enjoy them, and then maybe you can find a way to monetize them. Like, is his approach to everything is like, I just go do it because I like to do it. I like talk to people I like to
UFC
talk to.
becomes the biggest thing in the world. I like to talk to people. It becomes the biggest show in the world.
Yeah, it's like that's it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like just chase the passion. So I was like, I liked Joe. So in my mind, a bunch of people like me like Joe. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just got to get to, you know, like, you know, does that make sense? Like, the math was so easy for me, you know, like that's all how I ever thought about it.
The universe giving you an alley-oop.
Yeah, for sure. It's what I needed. And it was the week of the album. I ended up going out there the week of my album. You know, got me the big Spotify bump. It was a huge moment for me, man.
I mean,
just so like, cool. Dude, it's crazy. I had it with Flagrant again. Like, I got such a bump from Flagrant.
Really?
Yeah. There's certain things you do that you see like a bump. Yeah. Like, you feel it. Like, you realize there's...
The Richter scale kind of bounces.
Yeah, and you recognize there's a new audience in the comments all of a sudden. You're like, oh, I found new people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, new people have found me. You know? I seen that obviously the most with Joe. I felt it with every time I've done a comedian podcast. Though. There's people out there that there's a guy, you know, there's like anti-culture for every other culture that I've been labeled he's just a musician that built his brand on comedian podcast. But what they don't know about me that I'd like to clear up while me and you are talking as friends, it's because I only choose to do comedian podcasts. I don't do that other shit. You know what I'm saying? I like, respectfully, I just fucking don't do it. Yeah. I don't go to it. They call. It's not for lack of a desire. It's just me being like, just fucking, I don't know. Yeah. What are we going to talk? There's only so many times we could talk about a fucking G chord and how to write a song. You know what I mean? Before I'm going to lose my fucking mind in here. Yeah. You know, give me somebody that fucking, give me a homie. And by default, go back to what you love. When I have a night off, I go to the comedy club. So by default, I have a lot of friends that are comedians. Yeah. Other musicians don't do podcasts. So it's always a motherfucker that's not a musician that's critiquing it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
What do you think that is? Do you think other musicians just feel uncomfortable in the space because they're not experts in, you know, comedy, or like they feel like they have to be funny? Like, why don't you think more musicians are like doing comedy pods?
I just think maybe it's just the world's having, they're worried. Because, you know, you got to, you know, fuck, man. It's all this stuff's scary. Sometimes it's their publicist. Yeah. Like full, like inside baseball here, sometimes their publicist is like risk versus reward shit. Like,
but the reward could be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's also like a lot of artists are afraid to be themselves for 3 hours. Yeah. Like, I respect every artist that goes on Joe Rogan, because musicians are scared to go be themselves for 3 or 4 hours. At some point, you're going to figure out who the fuck we are. This isn't a 20-minute, you know, this isn't a 10-minute. Everything's kind of soft-served.
You can fake it for 5 minutes. You got to get the real.
You've got 30 minutes worth of a story. Yeah. But you sit in here for 2 or 3 hours, man, we're going to start really talking about how we feel about life. You know what I mean? And that's going to come across. And I think publicists are scared of that for artists, for musicians. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's just different. You know, it's just, it's a thing.
It's a shame to see people that try to, you know.
Drake's that way, though. For the record, Drake only does comedy stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
You ever notice when Drake pops his, he's the GOAT.
Yeah, he did Caleb's show. He did
for sure.
Bobby's show.
Drake's the GOAT.
Yeah. I mean, genuinely.
Literally the GOAT. He's 100. He's fucking Michael Jackson.
I mean, you heard the new Scary Hours, like the little mixtape?
Yes.
Or like the re-releases and stuff. Yeah. Even those, I was like, okay, he's got J. Cole on the on the re-release. Like, it's just so crazy.
His re-release songs are hits. It's insane. His longevity, when we look back at music, it's always going to be based on generations. And Michael Jackson and Prince of this generation will be Taylor Swift and Drake. Yep. You won't be able to take it away from them. Yeah. Period. You know what I mean? It's 100%. But when Drake pops his head out, he only does it with the shit he likes. Yeah. You can tell it's the shit he's watching himself. You know what I mean? That he's like, I think this is cool. You know what I mean? That's what I want to go do because I think it's cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what I think's so cool about fucking what Drake does, you know?
Yeah, it's so crazy. Just seeing him even with like Caleb and like having Adonis, like having his kid on there. Yeah. Like he's just like, my son's going to do it. Yeah, that's how you know he really fucks with it.
For sure.
Like, he's just a real fan.
Just a real fan. And also, I think it says a lot about what Caleb's built over there.
Oh, yeah.
That, like, Caleb has built a culture of, like, that you're like the scariest thing you can do as an artist to me is Caleb shit. You know what I mean? Because it's designed to trap you a little bit.
Make you uncomfy?
Yeah, to make you uncomfortable. But he's managed to do it at never the expense of the artist.
Yeah, it's always on him.
It's always on him.
Yeah.
Like he's found a way to do it. Yeah, for Glenny, right? It's like he's found a way to never do it at the expense of the artist.
Wait, have you done it?
I just did it.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, it's coming out soon. It should be out maybe this week.
How good?
It was, I don't know, it was probably bad, right? Because I'm a fan, so I tried to play along the first half.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm not going to win at this. This dude's too fucking good. You know what I mean? I was like, I just had to just sit back and just let it develop. But he is like, and he's the homie too. Yeah. Like outside of there, we hang with him all the time. So what I never seen coming was fucking, and I was once again, I was too high to be there. And I'm sitting down and we chatted for like 30 or 40 minutes, which is different for like what we do because we're homies. So as soon as I walk in, I'm like, I love you. Shut the fuck up.
Get on.
We haven't really caught up in a while. We can do this on camera. You know what I mean? Like, we'll just fucking have a conversation we would on the phone, you know? With him, it's different because it's, you know, it's more character driven. So we sit there for 45 minutes and we're kicking it as homies. And in hindsight, if I ever do it again, I'm walking right in like, we'll talk after, motherfucker.
Yep. You're not gonna rope a dope me.
You fucking rocked me all the way to sleep and then sat me down and hit. So, you're too fat to be buried. You know what I'm saying?
That's what he said.
Yeah, it's the opening line. So you'd have to be cremated, right? And I was like, well, I don't want to talk about my death. He's like, do you own land? Or a lot of land. And I was like, I own a little land. You know what I'm saying? He was just like,
where's it going?
Yeah, then I got comfortable in it and it was fun.
Oh, that's so funny.
But he's the best, dude. He's got this really cool thing of like, no matter how much I know I sounded really stupid, I left there like, this is what they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because of that, I think that's a testament of what they do over there.
Yeah, it's going to get chopped up.
It goes back to when you see people really win and then you meet them and you're like,
yep,
got it. Seen it.
He's got the whole thing.
He's got it.
Kid's
dude.
a star.
He's got
Kid's
it,
a star.
Dude. No, he's fucking awesome, dude.
I just finished reading Rick Rubin's book, The Creative Act of Living, How to Live Creatively, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's got a piece in it that's like so interesting. He talks about the Avett brothers. Is that how you pronounce it? Avett brothers? And them recording a specific track on their album. Have you ever heard him talk about this? He talks about the specific track on their album where they're recording in the studio and they all are harmonizing and they finish the song and they've done it like 3 or 4 times that day and they do it one more time and the whole thing crystallizes just in one moment. They just all kind of look at each other and go, oh, we tapped into something.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I watched the video and I didn't understand what they were talking about. Like I get it with comedy sometimes where you catch a flow and you're a bunch of guys just like all riffing and then you're like, yo, I'm gonna write that down. Like that was pretty good. And you just catch an energy and it's just lightning and you're like, oh, that's special. But I feel like you can feel it because like you can see the reaction, everyone's laughing. Yeah. But I watched this video with them and Rick Rubin and they all hit this moment and they're all like, wow, this is energy in here. I was so curious to ask you if you can explain in the studio catching energy with a bunch of people and connecting on like some brainwave shit where you're like, oh, we just did a special. That take was special. The other ones are good, and we said the same words and the same chords, but this one was crazy. Like, what is happening there?
I think for them it was different because it was like a singing thing and like a harmonic thing. For me, I experienced that the most in the writing room. Like, I love the idea that me and you walk into a room together and it's just us, and I grab that guitar that's in your corner. It looks like a Spanish guitar is what they used to call it, nylon string guitar, which is what Willie Nelson plays. And I grab that guitar and I go, you got any ideas? And that's how it starts. I just look you in the eye, cold, and go, you got any ideas? And you go, man, I don't know, man. I'm like, man. And you're like, I'm like, what's happening? You don't got no titles? You're like, no. I'm like, fuck me neither. And I'm like, because there's different ways. One of these could have went, you could have went, I have an idea. You could have went, I got a title, right? You could have went, I have a melody. But sometimes you get to the point where it's finally just me and you going, what'd you do last week? You know, what's going on? How's your home life? You know what I mean? And now we're just talking like boys. And that magic moment happens sometimes. And there's so many moments of magic in songwriting. But a magic moment where it's just, this is one of the many, is where somebody's just like, just telling a story, and they're like, oh, dude, I not even think they're coming up with a title now. We're just talking, you know, and they're just like, man, dude, you know what's crazy, dude? I was dropping my kid off at school this morning, and the crossing guard lady, you know, had up her yield sign and had up her stop sign, and I kind of rolled through it, and she screamed, it ain't a yield sign. And I was just like, ah, boy, you know what? I hope my kid don't get in trouble. And that's all they said. And then somebody's like, man, what if we wrote it ain't a stop sign? And it was about every hard struggle we went through in life, how it wasn't a stop sign. I'm making this up right now, high talking to you, right? And it's like, then I'm starting to pick something, and then you're fucking like, this is a great idea, but how do we write to it in a clever way? And then you start feeling the magic come in the room. And then a string comes, and then somebody has a melody, and then you're like, then you have a melody, and then I'm like, oh, dude, and then it just starts blossoming, and you're watching it, and you're like, this could be crazy. The whole time you're getting goosebumps, leg bumps, you're fighting for lines, you're trying to find lyrics. We're just like, and we're just two dudes that sat down on the table with a fucking guitar. And there is a chance, a small one, but a chance that when we leave this room, we could write something that could help people. And we came in here and didn't even know what the fuck we were going to do. We just agreed to come sit down and try it. You know what I mean? It's kind of the idea. Every time I write a song, I'm just trying it. You know what I mean? And that's where I've seen the magic come.
What's up, guys? We're going to take a break really quick because I need you to check this out right here. This that I have in my hand, I'm playing with it the entire podcast. I'm sure you're looking at it, you're probably like, oh, that's like a little fidget toy. That's Mark's little fidget toy. And it is, but it's much more than that. This is called a Fume. It's an award-winning product that has helped hundreds of thousands of people take the bad out of their habits. They have a bad habit. You know the one. You're out late, hanging with the boys, and all of a sudden you start taking some puffs of that, you know, that little devil stick. You know what I'm talking about? But now with Fume, you can kick it to the curb. That's right. Fume right here, instead of electronics, it's completely natural. Instead of vapor, it's using flavored air. And instead of harmful chemicals, it's using all natural, delicious flavors. That's right. Right here, I got like my little mint cartridge you can see, well used. I'll pop it right in here. I put the little thing on. It's a very sleek little design. It clicks right here. It's very nice. And then you go, and I'm just breathing in flavored air. It tastes amazing. It reduces my anxiety. It helps me focus on my breathing, which of course, as we know, helps a lot. And it's got a cool little sleek design. It's very discreet, and it helps me calm my anxiety. So if you are interested in taking the bad out of your habit, having a cool little product that makes you feel good when you breathe it, makes you feel good when you play with it, I want you to go to TryFume, TryFum.com, and I want you to check out the Journey Pack. Journey Pack is cool because that's going to give you everything you need to get started. Don't overwhelm yourself with like, oh, I got to get this thing, I got to put it all together. Nope. Journey Pack puts it all together for you, and it'll get you started on your journey of kicking your bad habits and just having habits. So I want you to go to TryFume, TryFum.com, use the code Gagnon, Gagnon, to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack. That's TryFume.com, use the code Gagnon for an additional 10% off when you order today. Now let's get back to the show.
Oh, like when D-Ray first played da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, and it was so simple but so dark and beautiful that I was like, and he kind of got off of it real quick because he thought it was too slow. And I was like, no, man, there's something there. And D-Ray's, da-na-na-na-na-na, and the next thing you know, it's somebody save me. You know what it's like? And it just starts developing. And then you're like, you're through the first verse, and me and D-Ray are like, what do we do? Of course, we started with the biggest note of the song. Like, where are we going to go from here? It's like, I don't know, it'd have to be a down chorus, but maybe we'd have to just belt, you know, just scream and just like, we're just figuring this out in the room, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's just me and D-Ray. We're just figuring this out in the room. And that song just spent its second week as the #1 song on country radio. It's going to be one of the top 20 songs of the year. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's when I see the magic happen, is in that moment. There's magic when you're cutting vocals too. There's magic in the production. It's a lot of little sprinkles of magic everywhere. But like for me, the real moment is when we walked in here and it was thin air and a fucking idea. And we left with a song that, you know, that people accredit to playing at funerals, where they said it's the most played song in recovery centers in America. You know what I mean? They believe that in rehab facilities that Save Me is the most played song in America, of all the rehabs in America, which is fucking helping people in their darkest moment, them first 30 days of coming out of a real drug addiction, You know what I mean? It's insane that I get to be there for that time with you through something that was just an idea. You know, I'm sorry I nerded out about that, and I probably talked too much about it, but that's something I could talk about. We should do a whole podcast on that one day. Like, songwriting and just that point of conception is crazy.
Because I'm less savvy with the technical aspects, because obviously I'm not a musician, but I'm so fascinated with the energy aspect. Like, does it feel spiritual?
Every time.
Like in the way of maybe church when you were a kid, or like even praying now, like spiritual moments you have now, where it feels like, oh, we're on like some other shit.
No.
Like we're like channeling the universe in a abstract way.
You know when it's happening. You know when those moments are like, you feel it in the room.
Yeah.
Right then. And sometimes you blow it in the room too. Sometimes you feel it, you'll drop it right then. And like true magic, as quick as it came, it's gone. And you just feel it leave, and you're like, I was right in the tip of our hands. You know what I mean? Like we were that close to writing the greatest song ever, and it just slipped through our fucking fingers. My homeboy Zach Crowell, my producer, he calls it the egg on the spoon. You know what I mean? It's like putting an egg on a spoon, and then you just it's got to get passed through writer's hands, guitar player hands, melody hands, lyric hands, then producer hands, then promotion hands, then execution hands, then radio hands, and there's so many places for the egg to fall off the spoon, and
it just slips through. That's kind of the
beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. And you know what the real beauty of it is? That's the case. And I don't know what my batting average really is, but if you count every song I ever wrote, that's my case. 3 in 1,000, 997 times in 1,000.
Really?
It just slipped through the spoon. 3 times the magic really happened. You know what I mean?
Wow. I mean, because I even think about that with comedy, where like I'll just sit down and write, or I'll be like working on stuff with guys, and it's like, oh man, we spent an hour and a half, and I got like a line maybe, or like I'm like, damn, like that sucks. And sometimes I beat myself up because I'm like, someone else could do more, like I'm trying to like hold on and trying to create magic instead of like letting it happen,
I'd say 80 to 100 demos in my phone of me singing or other people singing songs that I have wrote or been a part of this year. Okay? This year, 2023, with the schedule I've had, slept in my bed 36 nights this year.
Wow.
And out of those 80 songs, I'm going to say, and that's a light year for me. I like to write more. I'm going to say 55 of them, 50 of them are just blah. 10 of them could maybe cut the mustard. I don't know. I got to give them some more love. Maybe some rewrite, some reproduction, maybe some rethought out stuff. Well, maybe let's say 20 of them are like that. 10 of them, 7 of them, 6 of them, 7 of them I think are special, like album worthy right now. Like I could make them album worthy relatively easy. 2 of them I think are fucking mind blowing. 1 of them I think is the biggest song of my life. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, that's how I'm looking at these 80 songs on my phone.
Yeah. It's a pretty low percentage.
Yeah, for sure.
People got to remember that. Yeah. I got to remember that. Like, yo, this shit is not, it's not easy.
Dude, if I could write if I could release 20 that's all, just magic wand, another save me, please. You know what I mean? It's and that's the fun of it though, right? That's what keeps us chasing it.
Yeah.
That's what's got you doing spots till 1 o'clock in the morning on a fucking Friday night, Saturday morning when you're texting me like, dude, not going to make it, just left the comedy club, going home tired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just trying to crack the code.
You're just trying to crack the code. Because that's the difference. You're thinking about how much time you spent thinking about a joke. I think about how many hours y'all spend actually testing those motherfuckers out.
Oh, yeah, and them not working.
Insanity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just going in there and knowing that you're going to go in there and there's going to be, of your 15 minutes at the cellar or whatever, or 12 minutes, whatever time they give you, that you're going to have 4 minutes of it just sucking because you got 4 minutes worth of shit you got to start trying to figure out.
And you got friends coming to see you and they're like, hey, can I come see you? I'd love to watch. And you're like, it's going to be, we're building right now.
Yeah.
Right? And they're watching you and you're like, you can feel it not work. And you look at them and you're like, I'm better than this. You know what I mean? Like, you could feel it. But no, I think that's a good lesson for me, is to not be so obsessed with trying to, synthesize magic. You know what I mean? Just let it channel. That's the thing that Rick Rubin always talks about. It's like you are an intermediary for the universe and what it's trying to show you, and let it happen. And stop trying to control it. Stop trying to put it in its own little bottle. Let it exist as it is. Yeah. I don't know. There's something deep about it.
I got to read that book.
It's really good.
I've been watching a lot of the interviews he's done. I'm a huge fan, obviously. I mean, life goal is to work with Rubin, of course.
That's on the vision board?
Yeah, huge, man. I mean, it's just like the Pharrell call. Like, there's a couple of producers that you've watched your whole life. And the ones you're attracted to are the ones you've seen have success with multiple kind of acts.
Yeah.
There's a guy in Nashville named Joey Moy. He's with Big Loud.
What the hell's on Joey's head?
So that's him. You know this, right?
I'm familiar, yeah.
Yeah. So you know his story or any of it?
No, I know pieces of it. I know he was just working with Nickelback.
Yeah, so he did Nickelback. Got them, made Nickelback who they were, obviously. As far as production, right? Chad Kroger's a genius. But good buddy too. Sweet dude, by the way. You met Chad yet or not?
No.
You gotta meet Chad.
Genuinely and unironically a huge Nickelback fan.
Dog.
Like, obviously, it
Nickelback.
became a meme, whatever. Yeah. Genuinely excellent. And I actually like that the sentiment is coming around on them.
No, they did. They outlasted the hate.
Yeah, right. It's
but
beautiful.
You know what, man? You couldn't be as big as they were for those few years and not get hate. It's just inevitable.
Yeah.
Whenever you're the biggest thing on earth in any category, then inevitably people are going to hate you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
That's when you know you're cooking.
That's when you know you're cooking, dude. So it's like, that's just part of what they do. But then he went on to produce Florida Georgia Line. Which had one of the biggest songs in history ever with Cruz.
Song. Yeah.
For sure. Now he's doing Morgan Wallen. He produced Morgan Wallen's last couple albums that just went every song.
You proof all that?
All that.
Wow.
Oh, Last Night, him and Charlie Handsome. You know what I mean? Like, dude. You know what I mean?
Pretty good career.
What a fucking career. Right? So when you know that about him, you're like, I'd like to work with that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck, he gets it. He figures out everybody in their own way. He produces Hardy, which Hardy's really hands-on. But it's like, it's so crazy to me that he can do this like new hips, country, hip-hop, rock sound that he, like light rock, whatever he does with Morgan, the 808s, which I think Charlie comes in for some of that too, but because Charlie Handsome's a fucking brilliant mind. But then he can go do this rock record with Hardy.
Yep.
And then he can do this country twang rock with Florida Georgia Line and do straight alt rock with fucking Nickelback. Like, you're like, I want to work with that guy.
Yep.
That's how you feel about Pharrell. Like, when you look at Pharrell's hits, you're like, he can do anything. I'm different. What would he do with me? Especially when you're a different artist, you want to work with Rick Rubin because you're like, I wonder how you mesh these two worlds together.
Yeah, exactly. And he will.
Yeah, because I'm somewhere between fucking, Jim Croce and Zach Bryan and fucking Tupac. You know what I'm saying? It's like, where does that meet at? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he'd be like, yeah, fuck, it's a Da Vinci Code for him, and I think he'd crack it.
And
I think it'd be hip and fresh.
Yeah. Rick Rubin, same thing. You know what I mean? Like, going Jay-Z, Chili Peppers, like what types of music could be more different? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dave Cobb's another one. He's a country producer, but he did like Sturgill Simpson.
Oh, really?
He's done some of the Shooter stuff, him and Shooter. Just like he's got that wide spectrum too of like, he doesn't do a lot of projects, but every time he does one, it's mad different and he just kills it.
And these guys like that are so musically and like orchestrally genius. Yeah. What is it about them that makes them win? Like, are they approaching it in just like a very broad, like Zen way? Are they competitive? Like, what do you feel like it is?
I would only speculate, man, because I'm watching like Rubin's docs and like his like pods and stuff and seeing what he's saying. It's everything he's always stood by. So I would assume that a lot of his is just Zen and just making what he thinks hip and fresh. You know what I mean? Which is kind of his formula is like create for yourself, fuck the audience. But I want to work with him. I pray I come back on this pod or next time I'm on Flagrant, whichever one we do next first, that I've worked with him and I can come back and talk to you about it like I talk about working with Pharrell. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I can be like, yo, we got to talk about Rubin, Mark. I did it. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking, that'd be a dream. You know what I mean? Or Dave or Joey for that matter. Fuck any of them. I'd take any of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's so cool. I don't know. I'm so obsessed with that creative process. One of the things that Rick talks about in the book that's, again, another thing I'm personally dealing with, which is why I want to ask you specifically, is getting over the insecurity or the anxiety of putting things out that are authentic or vulnerable? Like that feeling where you're about to click publish and show people what you've been working on.
Yeah.
How did you get over that hump?
Man, I was blessed to be a fan of hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
I always wrote songs like a country songwriter because the songwriters in Nashville write 5 to 6 days a week, 2 sessions a day, 12 songs to 15 songs a week every week. They're turning in 200 songs a year, 300 songs a year.
Wow.
They're playing the game at a different level. Rock and roll dudes are touring 200 dates a year, and hip hop dudes are putting out 50 songs a year. You know what I mean? So lucky, I was blessed that I came up in the era of hip hop where you just hit the upload button and didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
You just, whatever you had that was available to put out, you put on a CD. Even back in the early 2000s, you put a spindle of CDs together. You're just passing out. You just didn't think, there was no thought into it. It was just, this is what I have. This is the collection of art I have right now to present to the world, present it. There was like, you didn't care. There was only an upside. That's the beautiful thing about being at the bottom. There's no downside. You know what I'm saying? In that era, it was different, but in this era, it'd be like even becoming a meme or an internet joke was an up from where you were in life. It's like that was something.
Yeah.
Gives me something. It gives me a new ground. Right now, I'm Indian style on the bottom. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing flat.
Yeah.
Spread eagle, snow angels, and the rock bottom. You know what I'm saying? So you do that for long enough, and you just hit the upload button and don't give a fuck.
So you never were insecure early on, even with like the rap stuff?
No, I'm insecure now. Now I'm insecure. Yeah, now I'm petrified. Yeah. I have something to lose now. You know what I mean? Now the upside is smaller. The closer you get in the bubble, you know what I mean? The upside starts to becoming, there's way more downsides and upsides to releasing music at times. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to fight that. I'm fighting that right now because I'm like, Wits at Chapel did really well. Sold a lot of records. It's still rolling. We got a new single going to radio from the album on country radio right now. Now That Save Me went #1. We're in the Hot AC radio. We're at Top 40 radio. We're taking Save Me to Top 40 and Hot AC radio. We got a new record going to rock radio, and it's all off of this album that's already out.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Yeah. So it's like even if it don't work, there's no risk to me. The album's already done as good as I thought. It can only go up from there. It can only help the album.
And it's going to keep on giving you gems.
Just going to keep. It can only help the album. If the records don't do what I hope they do, that's fine. The album still did great.
Yeah.
The new one's a new one. You know what I mean? I got to live and die by that. And I'm ready to put out more music than last year. I got 80 in my phone. I plan on writing another 30 before the end of this year. Yeah. And we're sitting here. For those of y'all that are listening, this is pre-taped. And we're in, I don't know, early December, mid-December almost. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I still plan on writing another 20 before New Year's Eve.
Wow. Before New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And that pressure, that anxiety, is that enjoyable?
Well, I love writing.
Yeah.
Because the cool thing about writing is, besides me like talking about this more honest than I ever have in any situation, because I've had the time to do it, is if all 80 of those songs fucking sucked, nobody would know but me. Mm-hmm. And the people that, the couple of people that were around, you know what I mean? Like that's the beauty of of just trying, you know what I mean? Is that nobody, now I'm going to have to get confident at some point and present 12 of them to the world. Yeah. Petrifying, Mark. Yeah. Petrifying. But it's what I live for. The day I'm like, whatever, we just dropped an album today, I need to quit. The first day that I go to walk on stage and I'm not a little nervous and I'm not having to give myself a little bit of a pep talk before I walk on stage, I'll quit.
Do you think you're a better writer or performer?
Writer.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, my live show's fire.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, my live show's fire.
But also the bars are fire.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But I think my thing is, I don't think I'll perform forever. I think I'll write forever.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think I'll release music forever, but I think I'll write forever.
Jump on projects that you're like, yo, this is heat.
Yeah, or just write for other people. I got a few songs on my phone that'll end up with other artists.
Wow.
I have no problem with that. I'll write for other artists anytime they want me to. I'll always accept that call.
And it gives you not the same, but does it give you a similar feeling when that song charts or that song does well?
Yeah, for sure. Well, even more sometimes because now you're solidifying yourself as like a writer. You know what I mean? Like you got to realize I love putting myself in the room when I'm the small dog. It's like when I go into a writing session with Ashley Gurley, he's had 70 #1s at country radio. He's the GOAT record, you know what I mean, guy. It's like nobody's bigger than him. Yeah. I'm a little dog in here. Even with these songwriters, man, when I go into the room and I'm writing for like a project with a couple of like Nashville songwriter dudes, and we're writing for something else, they're looking at me like cross-eyed, like, all right, let's see if he carries his weight.
And
you know what I mean?
You like that, though.
Yeah, because they look at me like he's an artist. He's the singer-songwriter. Like, how much does he really write songs? And then I get to go in and be like, and then because they're looking at me, because that's all they do is write fucking songs. You know what I mean? So they're looking like, all right, let's see if you really write, motherfucker, because we really write. Let's see if you really write. It's like going to a new basketball court all the time, and everybody looking at you, and there's a reason why they don't think you're going to be able to hoop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's
because you're white.
I love that. Yeah, because I'm a big fucking fat white, or because I'm fat. I think both would be very fair. You know what I'm saying? Even though I've never lost a game of horse and never will. I'll smoke anybody.
Really?
Ever. I'll put 10 grand on it right now. We'll go to a basketball court, me and you. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
Yo, we got a hoop out here, actually, low-key.
I'm serious. We'll do it, dog. I'm telling you. You give me... We'll do 5 warm-up shots apiece. That's it. Then we'll just go right into it.
I love it. But you like being like unassuming, I guess, or like people being like, all right, let's see, and then proving them wrong.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite because it's where I came from. There was only people to prove wrong. I had nobody to prove right except my mom and dad and brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? I didn't start from a place of like a lot of support. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just my household. That's about it. That's where the support lived and died. You know, everywhere else, as soon as I walked out the front door, it was no longer support. It was automatically up against the grain.
Yeah, I'll show you.
You know, immediately.
And then when you sit down, who are you trying to channel? Are you trying to channel like Bob Dylan? Is like
clip that. I need that one. I'm saying, sorry.
When it comes to like writing, you're sitting in this writer's room. Are you trying to be Bob Dylan? Is that like the form for you, or does it change per product or per project, like the way you have to write?
If I'm writing for somebody else, or I'm writing the Nashville way, back into the Nashville, a lot of quotes here today. But if I'm writing the Nashville way, I write from the perspective of like whatever we're channeling in the room that day. But I still believe that I should write the way I write and how I write, and it's just I have like back to how I perform. One thing about me is there's little constants in my philosophies. You know what I mean? The same way it's like I write the way I write, dude. You know what I mean? This is what I bring to a room, man. If it lands, it lands. If it don't, cool. Might not have been me. Might have been the room. Sometimes it's me. That's fine too. You know what I mean? I'm gonna write bad songs. We're all gonna fuck them up. If I just told you my batting average, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just go in and write, but I'm inspired and influenced by these other writers by default. So your writing style is, Steve Mackey's a vocal coach, and he once said, our voice is a combination of every sound we've ever heard. And I thought that was so dope. That, you know what I mean? And then he went on to do impressions, and he was like, yeah, I just heard this my whole life, so I learned how to do it. You know what I mean? It's like, he's like, everything, it's something we've heard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he is the GOAT, like Mariah, like you name him.
Everyone.
Yeah, he's like the guy.
Wow.
And when he said that, it stuck with me because I'm like, my writing style is just a combination of everybody I ever thought was great. You know what I mean? My singing style is just my version of fucking every singer I've ever thought was incredible.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So there's definitely Dylan in there. There's definitely Croce in there, James Taylor in there, but there's also the brilliance but simplicity of 3 6 Mafia in there. And I think that's why songwriting has the potential to only get better as time goes by.
There's more to draw from.
Yeah.
More sounds to hear. More things to be influenced on.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Did you ever do poetry? Any other types of like written art?
When I was a kid, when I didn't know I could rap, poetry was kind of my gateway to hip hop.
Really?
Yeah, as far as like from a perspective of like.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you reading poetry?
No, I would just write it and like go show my mom. So my mom was like, we talked about this on another pod, but my mother struggled with like a lot of real mental health stuff and drug stuff. And she didn't come out of her room much. But when she did, it was always music related or it was storytelling. So either her and all of her friends would sit around the table and smoke cigarettes. I call them the Golden Girls. And they'd smoke cigarettes and they'd just like tell stories and listen to songs. And I would come down and just be like a 10th wheel. You know what I mean? I'd just be hanging out in the corner, just soaking it all up, maybe being a little perv. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm just down there soaking it all up. And even as a kid, I realized that this was like what made my mother tick. So I was like, well, I can't write a song, but I can write her a poem. So like in my childlike mind, it was like, you know, I'm doing it for my mama. Like, I wrote you a poem. You know what I mean? Like, here's a poem. You know what I mean? And she would always, especially if her girlfriends were down there, that she didn't, you know, I'd take her to her room and she'd read it back, thank you. But if she was with her girlfriend, she'd tell me, go get one. She'd be like, bring one of them poems down here. I want to read them to the girls. And I'd be like, oh, shit, I got one. You know what I mean? You know? And then it started turning into like song stuff. And in hindsight, I looked at it when I was in therapy of like, was sad that I was just craving like this love from a mother and attention. But in the other side of it was like, it created this like understanding of the power of what this stuff could do. You know what I mean? So like, I suddenly got like, I realized how powerful music was and how much that this could make a difference. Yeah. So I started trying to do that. Like, then I started seeking it. And then I realized that I would get some praise for it.
Yeah,
but I was, yeah, you know what I mean? And I was like, yo, this is like, yo. And I just remember thinking like, man, if I can ever make them feel the way this Bette Midler song makes them feel. You know, I thought about it years later I always reference the Rose in every interview because I didn't realize it. This was like my epiphany. Save Me was just me trying to write a power ballad because the one my mother loved the most was a power ballad. You know what I mean? Like, even subconsciously, like years later, not even knowing it, that's what I'm writing towards in a room. Yeah. Was a big open power ballad that made you feel something because the Rose made my mama cry and she'd say play it at her funeral and all these things would, you know, like, it's like, that was our perception of music. So like, I don't know, man, music's like, it's my whole life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How
like,
crazy is it now that there's some kid, some town who's getting into music because their parents love Save Me?
Exactly. Dog, when I seen the kid win the school talent show playing Save Me and the whole crowd started singing with him at like West Georgia High School, like middle of nowhere, it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, that a kid picked up the guitar and learned how to sing because Save Me. Like, in that same instance, I can imagine him going into his family. Yeah. And them listening to music, he'd be like, hold on.
Hey, Joey, play that Jelly Roll song you know.
Yeah, period. You know, it's the coolest thing ever.
You're his Bette Midler.
Yeah.
How
it's
crazy.
crazy. It was the dream.
Yeah. I mean.
And the bigger dream is that I'm around in 25 years and I get to hear it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Somebody's talking about it on the award show and I'm like all drunk and at my fucking beach house. You know what I mean?
Naked
I'm like,
in the river.
Yeah, and I'm like, I look at Bunny and I'm like, I think I should write a song, man. I hadn't wrote one in a year. You know what I mean? It's just, you know.
I mean, it's not the exact same, but I just remember my dad just listening to comedy nonstop. Like, just obsessed. His dream was always to be a stand-up comedian. Really? Yeah. Since he was a kid. He grew up in Montreal with no money, like no shoes type shit in the winter, like tough situation. His dad was kind of like in prison and figuring some stuff out. So he grew up with nothing, but was obsessed with comedy, always. Like, was always like, he loved it. But he never got to do it. You know, he moved to Florida, you know, had a bunch of kids off rip. So as like a 20-year-old, he was like having to take care of like a bunch of kids and, you know, had to get a real job. So we got the closest thing he could do to comedy, which is, you know, basically like public speaking events as like a, you know, real estate person, you know, like he was do like these realty seminars, but he always loved the performance. He just wanted to be on stage and just get people charged up. That was like his favorite thing. And it was the closest thing he could do and make money. That was the closest stand up. And I just remember like listening to, you know, Gaffigan and Seinfeld in the car. I didn't even realize it. This is how crazy it is. So I would like imitate all of Gaffigan's hour because it was clean and I knew all the words. We would drive to stuff and I'd never really made my dad laugh like that. But once I started just reciting Gaffigan jokes, he's in the car, has to pull over because he's crying laughing. And there's no question in my mind that is like a significant reason why I do this. And I didn't even realize it on a conscious level. This is kind of an aside, but my sister a few years ago was diagnosed with brain cancer and had just a big like glioblastoma in her frontal lobe. And she's okay now. Actually, at the time, she was living in Ray County, Tennessee, right, outside of Knoxville. And she's okay now, but she was basically facing a period of her life, like a couple months where basically the doctor was telling her like, hey, you got, you know, start like making arrangements because you got probably like 3 months. And she was like, fuck. She's 20 something at this time. She's like, what? And so she goes to my dad and she's talking to him and she's like, hey dad, is there anything in your life, you know, now that I'm considering the end of my life, is there anything in your life that you wish you had done or you tried that you never got to do? And the only thing he said was stand-up comedy.
Really?
I didn't even know this. And I was already doing stand-up at this point. And it never like dawned on me that was always his dream.
Wow.
And my sister was inspired to like want to try it because of him. And like, I don't know, it kind of blew my mind, like how influential my parents could be subconsciously without even knowing it, without even knowing that they're influencing me to want to pursue this dream.
Right.
In the way that your mom was influencing you without even knowing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For
Like,
sure.
It almost feels like I don't know, like dynastic or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm carrying on like a bigger purpose. It sounds kind of dumb because it's just jokes.
It's real though. No, it's not just jokes. It's art. Bubba, we talked about this, man.
Yeah, but
I get it. I mean, just joke keeps you uncancelable.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, it's just crazy that things can be.
So what does your dad make of your success?
I think it blows his mind a little. I think, yeah. Like
he's happy for you, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Like he's
yeah.
elated that you're like doing what you love for a living.
And I played soccer for years, and he never really cared about the soccer. But as soon as I started doing comedy, he was like, "So what are you doing tonight? You going to open mic?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah." And then he got to come see us in Toronto at Scotiabank.
Oh my God.
And he was just giddy.
Oh, I bet.
And when he sees me, I think he kind of like plays a little cool. Like he's excited, but he's like, yeah, great. Like he's like so complimentary and just like gushing. But then my sister was like, when he got to the seat, he was just standing up, couldn't sit down. Yeah. Just like hands on his thighs, just like
nervous for you, excited,
just like,
oh, dude.
Yeah.
This is the coolest fucking shit ever.
Yeah.
God, have you ever thought about putting together a tight 5?
Wait, what do you mean? About this?
Like a little tight 5 minutes and take them out one night and try to get them to do it.
Do it. Let him do it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all spend the time and you put them a little 5 together, a little 3. You know what I mean? One you know it could kill.
Yeah, he would love it.
Yeah.
He would really love it. I should do that.
You should, dude. Especially one of your headliners. You can't go wrong. It's your dad. He's going to kill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's like, you know.
I'm afraid he's going to be better than me.
You could. Fuck yeah, even cooler. Let that be the plot twist.
Yeah, bro, he's so
Next
funny.
time I'm on Camp Gagnon, he's the fucking host.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm off in the corner. Running
You're
audio.
fucking producing it.
Yeah. Bro, I'm telling you, I've always said I'm like the 4th funniest person in my family. You know what I mean? Like it's not even a question. You know what I mean?
It's awesome. Man.
But yeah, dude. I don't know. It's a wild journey, and it's cool to see the similarities in someone else that I admire and I respect, like you, and being able to see the path that you've kind of blazed, like. I don't know, it makes me believe in myself a little more. Yeah. And it's just really cool to see.
No, dude, I think you're fucking awesome, dog. I think you're telling your dad. You ever told that story?
No, I don't think so.
It's fucking awesome.
Maybe pieces of it, but I felt comfy with you.
No, dude, dude, I mean, I almost choked up. I was over here like, God, the similarities are crazy. It's funny how we'll like do that. It's funny how those things will, I know it's like a totally different thing, but I take my daughter to Tennessee Titan games all the time. And she's by default a Titan fan. Now even more than me, she tells me what's up. You know what I mean? Because I'm so busy. She'll be like, yo, I'm watching the game. I'll keep you posted, you know? And she'll just like send me her recap of it. My kid's fucking hilarious.
That's awesome.
Well, also the comedy thing lingers with her because we watch like raunchy comedy together, and we have since she was disrespectfully young, now that I think about it. But because of that, it comes out in like her personality. You know what I mean? Of like, she's got like really dark jokes all the time.
Yeah.
But it's like, but we'll go to a Titan game and I'll just be thinking to myself, I know I'm a Titan fan, but I'm a Titan fan because my father was a Titan fan and made me a Titan fan. And now here I am creating a little Titan fan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, because we're going. This is what we're doing, dude.
Yeah.
I'm in town. We're going to see the Titans lose. You know what I'm saying? We're fucking like being a Jets fan. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking a rough season again.
It's going to be cool when you do that arena. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's going to be cool.
Yeah. I can't wait. You'll see me front row.
Come on. It's happening.
I can't wait. Thank you so much, brother.
Love you,
I
brother.
really appreciate this.
Thank you for having me. Are we done?
I mean,
I don't even know how long we've went. You create a culture of fucking lostness. You don't see the producer. Nobody pulls up nothing. It's the coolest podcast ever just by default of
Thank you, man.
We really are fucking camping.
I really appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Yeah, again, I know this is your off day, so I don't want to keep you any longer. And
thank you for your time.
These poor people have been sitting on their asses for the
I love
last
you, brother.
2 hours.
Thank you,
Thank
man.
you so
We're
much.
proud of you, brother. Anytime.
Love
Give me
you,
some
man.
clips.
I can't wait.
That was awesome.